Hey, today, transforming your bank account, it's a lifestyle. Yeah, there's no tricks. And what happens when faith meets human desire? You get soaking. And hey, baby, it's not what you think. You don't believe me? Stick around. Coming up today, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab, where
when something negative comes up.
Building muscle and food. Blood flow.
Nobody is expecting John.
If your lady's saying that, you're just
Being a super
Be entertained by fun over here.
How have I slept? Has my sleep been good? Is that it?
There we go, baby. It's a Friday, and the loop begins. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. What's going on, nation? Yep. We're closing the loop on a Friday here. We got Daniel Brenneman showing up, the Coach Altons. He was back. He's back. He was here a few weeks ago in the lab. We're going to catch up with Daniel, see how his morning routine is. We're talking transforming your bank account. And listen, nation, it actually has nothing to do with what you think it does. Oh, baby, no way, baby, no. We're going to get into that later on in the show. And then, hey, you ever thought about soaking? Hey, Dugan, you ever thought about soaking? We're getting the conversation about soaking today in the lab. Maybe we're going to talk a little bit about hair loss and creatine. We're going to look at Johnny wondering, hey, does creatine cause hair loss? We got some answers for that. George Hansen's joining us today. We're going to talk pooping. We're going to talk pooping. We're going to talk food. We're going to talk why is food so expensive and how can we lessen the food bill when we go and go shopping here in the store here. That's up today on today's show here. So, Jimmy, let's keep the show rolling, man. Let's bring in the crew here. Let's bring in Flynn in the black on black and Johnny in the black on black with the excuses with the black hat. And Nation, Marty's here. Marty's just making his way to the lab to turn the lights on. So nobody's going to be accusing Marty of being late. And Marty texted me at many minutes ago saying, Uncle Keith, I'm going to be there. I'm just running a few seconds on time.
I don't bust somebody up for being late. I bust somebody up if they don't show up.
Yes.
We all got shit. We all got shit we got to handle, and especially when we make the sacrifices, we need to make sure that our loved ones don't make them with us. And sometimes if being a few minutes late is what it takes to protect our loved ones, that's what it takes.
That's it. So Kristina, we got Nation, we got Jack Dugan here. Flynn, we need to answer the question of the year on LinkedIn, I think, for us anyways on the lab. Is it Dugan or Dugan? Because I'm looking at the comments here, Flynn, and it's my dad is ridiculous, Dugan says. Or is it Dugan? You can say Dugan like you always have, but I think it's Dugan like Duran.
Was it his dad?
Well, I don't know, Bill. Dugan, is that your dad on there catching up with you and saying, why the hell is Bilous saying our last name wrong? Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, Jack, good to see you there. Good time. Good time. Good to see you here yesterday. Yes, good things missed the show yesterday. Oh, good time, lost the power. Dad. Jesse Freeman, good morning, good friend. Jesse, where are you joining us from this morning? Good to see you here. You are on the only morning show on the planet that gets up to start our day with you. Get you over, not hit the snooze button. We've been teaching Flynn not to hit the snooze button for months, and she's not hitting the snooze button anymore. So she's 9 minutes behind.
I'm doing it.
Anderson, how was your day today, brother?
It's good. I was actually a little different today because we're leaving early because we got to be up to I think I told you guys we're going to see the oldest daughter. She's doing her dress fitting, and
nice.
So we got to leave at 7.
Yeah,
which means that my second morning training would have been cut in half. So I basically got up a little extra early, got some training in.
Attaboy.
Got my 10 sets of 10 squats in before the show.
There you go. Did you do the rebound this morning? And Jesse, what's going on in Tennessee there today? Is it cold, warm? Good to have you here on the show. Listen, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, Jesse. We wake up every single day. This morning show goes every single day, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Myself, Anderson, Flynn, Marty, producer Jimmy, the whole, Flynn, a cornucopia of guests that come to our show here, Flinner.
Thank you, Johnny. We have a conversation to have. Okay, we need to figure out how to the future generations not lose old time language like cornucopia and Bob's your uncle and take it on the chin. How do we make sure that the future generations
Well, I
don't
think
lose
we got to.
this?
I
Because
think
you
we
all
got
keep
to.
it here.
Well, see, I think we got to go further back. We got to use word like knickers and drawers and shit like that. And we got to go way
this
back.
is what I'm
We're gonna go. We
saying.
got to go way back. You know,
Your bootstraps.
That's it. Flynn, we could actually set up Johnny's studio with like fax machines and sticky notes with all the ultimate old school vintage studio with just paper and a big picture of Jack Dugan on the wall. Dugan, just a massive picture of his journey losing weight with Good Time walking next to him. And it's
you're old when like
there's
things start to appeal to you. Like Tom Hanks is a collector of vintage typewriters, and you're like, not much going on, eh, Tom? What's going on, bro?
Well, there's something to be said for kind of having your own language, like we've started to develop on the show. Yes,
that's true. That's very, very true. Very, very true.
So it's just the way that I talk. Terry always busts me up. Like the other day, I was like, "Hey, honey," I was like, "Is there any clothes in the machine?" She said, "What are you talking about?"
What machine?
I said, "Is there in the dry machine? Is there any clothes in there?" I was talking about the dryer. But I referred to it as the clothes machine, the wet clothes machine, or the dry clothes machine. She's like, "What is wrong with you?" I said, "I'm just breaking it down nice and simple. There's a dish machine, there's a clothes machine, but there's a wet and a dry clothes machine."
It's locational too, right? Like at different locations say different things. Have you ever seen the video where it shows that in different places in the world, this makes complete sense, but I never knew it. Animal sounds are different. So like we'll say moo, but in certain places in the world, they don't say moo. So what a cow sounds like. No, but it's like complete. I gotta find this video. It's fucking hilarious.
You find the video. We'll bring Marty in here. Marty, we're doing moo sounds here in the morning. What's going on, Marty?
That was not a cow.
Hey.
That was a Keith.
No, it was
man. Keith is in Winnipeg.
Hold on. Marty's waiting for a good joke from Keith today. Marty, that was a brown cow.
I didn't even get that one. Fuck. Anybody?
Yes, crickets.
Jesus Christ.
Lucky my
but hold on. I gotta defend the little nutty son of a bitch because I grew up on a farm for a chunk of my life. Yes. That was a pretty fucking good cow sound. Cows don't go moo. They go They don't.
Exactly, John.
Tina, what you think?
Marty, I'm a city girl, so me commenting on what cows sound like, it's going to be from whatever book told me.
Speaking of
until you're out there fucking spreading alfalfa amongst the fucking cows, you don't know what cows sound like.
You don't know.
Tyler and Carissa Holland, and they're joining us from the farm this morning. Good morning, you guys up in Alberta. We know you're tuning in this morning. They've been up for 3 days already. They joined the show yesterday morning. They wake up sometime before John and Marty and myself and Flynn accumulatively. They just get up in the middle. They're just in the middle of the day here. So they're repping the morning show on the Instagram and Threads platform. And Jesse Freeman, mainly cream and sugar, sometimes no sugar. Jesse, you got to keep the sugar out, brother. You got to keep the sugar out. You got to go black all the way, right, boys? Just black is the coffee way to go.
Black on black.
Black on black.
It doesn't have to be so immediate either. There is some not black and white. You could get rid of the sugar at first and do some cinnamon instead of going directly to black. Just saying, guys.
Is Flynn offering advice right now, or is she just talking? What is she saying?
I'm talking like the average person who doesn't do everything that you do. And I'm just saying, sometimes it works if you take gradual steps.
Yeah, so Jesse, no, the sugar just gives an extra boost. No, the sugar gives extra bloat. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's it.
Cinnamon, give it a try. It's sweet. It's delicious. All
right. So Jesse, give us the cinnamon. Jesse, come on the show and do a review for us. Tell us how the review was with the cinnamon in that whole thing. I can see Johnny waiting to say something, but his internet is holding him back. He's a minute behind right now. Johnny, what are you going to say?
No, I don't have a delay. I just can't fucking hear all of what's going on here. But when you take creamer might be fucking worse than the goddamn sugar because it's just straight fucking chemical.
Yeah.
So and think like this. We're finding very, very clearly now that sugar is the fucking cause of all Americans' problems, not
Yes.
fucking
Oh
fat
shit.
like they've been telling us. So,
Yeah.
Sugar in soda, sugar in coffee, you got to be really careful of that stuff. It fucks us up. I mean, it's what's turning us fucking diabetic.
Johnny, Kristina, Marty, could you imagine society with no sugar? Like, just imagine how bitchy people would be, how miserable humans would be. They'd be like fucking Civil War. I need my sugar.
Hold on. They wouldn't be fucking
for a hot minute.
It would be like that for about 7 fucking days, and then we would have the most happy fucking race on the planet. This shit it'd be like if you took all addictive fucking drugs away. Everybody would go through a withdrawal, and then they'd be fucking amazing.
Yeah, there's right. So Jesse Freeman's going straight to black coffee. Jesse, I'm with you, brother. So Jesse, when I started my relationship with my new wife, Lauren, I was telling the story before on the show here. She's like, "Oh, where's your coffee machine?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't have a coffee machine. I don't drink coffee." She's like, "What?" So I started my coffee habit straight to black. Didn't even start with creamer. Didn't even start with cream. Didn't even start with sugar. Just straight to black, and I haven't gone back. Yeah, true story.
As long as you're getting a great coffee, then the black doesn't matter. If you're getting shit, then the black is tough to swallow.
That's true. Dugan, are you a coffee guy? Are you a tea guy? Are you a macchiato guy? Are you a cappuccino guy? Are you a give me another one, Flynn? Are you a yeah, exactly. Matcha.
I really do this.
Well, the key with coffee is this is that it has to be fucking ground on the spot. If you're buying pre-ground shit, that doesn't fucking work. My machines, I'm a coffee freak. I got the Nespresso, I got the espresso, I got the regular motherfucker. And every time, no matter which one I'm turning on, the first thing you hear is it's grinding beans.
I must have had a shitty coffee. I got the Keurig.
Oh,
the Keurig is good for that moment where you got to fucking grab and go, baby. Everything serves a purpose.
I have the Keurig for the backup. So Marty, you know how we have the coffee maker here in the house. Marty, I got to get you back up here, man, because it's getting cold, and I feel like I did. So we should talk about that so that you can really experience Manitoba with me.
Not
you haven't been in the winter? You didn't go in the winter?
No, you could. No. Marty, all you got to do is fucking find your way into a freezer, and you know exactly what it's like up there, bro. You don't got to get on a plane for that shit.
Marty, you can't say you've been to Winnipeg if you haven't been in the winter. It's not the same.
Hey, Dugan, you want to come visit me?
I know how cold you guys get up there. It was Regina, Saskatchewan.
Whoa.
That was some fucking cold shit, man. I got off the goddamn airplane. Oh, Jesus. I got off the airplane. I had the flu, so I was extra cold. But I got off the airplane. One of those ones where I had to go down the steps and like 60 yards to the building. I got to the first step, went back in and said, I didn't call them motherfuckers, but I was like, you people need to give me a bunch of blankets to get across that fucking tarmac.
Such a diva.
That was going straight through me, man. That stuff was cutting deep. That wind.
Yeah.
All right. So listen, we got Daniel Brenneman hanging out with us, patiently waiting in the green room. We're going to bring Daniel in here. He's been on the show before. He was here a couple weeks back. We're going to bring Daniel and do accountability check-in. And then, guys, I haven't got to the big topic on soaking. And I want to maybe we'll have that conversation with Daniel here on the show here as well. I'm sure Johnny and Marty. I was having the conversation last night with Piper Flynn about soaking.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. My 14-year-old daughter.
Wedding? I missed it. About wedding?
About soaking. And we're not talking about soaking in the tub at 4 a.m. So listen, Jimmy, let's do this. Let's go to the accountability check-in. We'll let Johnny go and have a pee and Marty get himself ready for the big soaking conversation. We're going to bring Brenneman in, talk to the coach Elton. Talk to the coach Elton. The word from Brenneman. Yeah, that's his word. All right, where's my notes? There we go, nation. Yes. Okay. Boom, boom. Here's one for you. Oh, yeah. You waiting for this one? I know you are. You waiting. Here we go. Your goals are stupid. Yeah, true. Here's why. Most people, they set goals that protect them. We've all been there. I've been there. You've been there. That guy over there. We've all been there. No, not goals that push them. We all look at Elon going, that's a ridiculous goal. Yeah, but he sets them so that perhaps we can achieve audacious goals. So you aim for what's realistic, typical is what we do. I'll get it done by next Friday. I'm only going to do this. What happens if you can do that? Realistic goals, they don't scare you. Realistic goals just give you the encouragement to wake up. What doesn't scare you won't change you, nation. Not at all. Because here's what I've learned. If your goal feels easy, it's useless. If it feels impossible, It's perfect. And damn it, if they're talking smack, you know what Johnny says? You're on the right track. Listen, the gap between easy and impossible is growth. You want to grow? Here's how. You set those goals that make you feel uncomfortable, and you work backwards. You start with a goal so fucking big, you feel like a fraud writing it down. Then you come on the show and tell the world about it. Yeah. Then you reverse engineer the steps to get there. Because comfort's the enemy of that transformation. And I'm telling you, you don't make that unrealistic goal, you don't state it publicly, you're not hitting that goal. There's your check-in, nation. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, the only morning show to get your ass out of bed. What's going on, Jesse? Yes, I see you there in the lab. All right, Jimmy, let's keep the show rolling, brother. Let's do it. Okay, so we're going to do this here. We're going to turn the music off. We're going to bring up Marty. We're going to bring up Jimmy. Here's what we're going to do, man. We are going to, Jesse, you're 18. Good job, man. All right, let's do this. We are going to bring up Marty. We're going to bring up Johnny. We're going to bring up our friend Daniel Brenneman. And what we're going to do, Jimmy, is we're going to run that YouTube that I got there. Where the heck is it here? Boom. I just love
What's up, Daniel?
What's up, boys?
What's up, Daniel Brenneman?
Y'all good?
Fantastic. How are you, pal?
I'm wonderful.
Yeah. What's so wonderful about today?
I got up and I get to do what I love to do.
Oh, I love.
There we go.
It is also my youngest son's 6th birthday.
Oh,
so
yes.
We started off with a big morning excitement running around.
Let's go.
It's a good day.
Let's go.
Nice. Let's do this. So every time on the show, we bring our guests and we like to ask a question, but we were fortunate, Marty, Daniel, Johnny, Jimmy, Flynn, that Brennan was here before. So here's what we're going to do.
I was just about to say, he's been here before, right?
Yeah. He has been here before. Yeah. So we're going to do a little bit of a repeat here. We're going to run the old, here's what we're going to do, Jimmy. We're going to throw this on the screen here. We're going to add the stage, and we're going to ask this of Daniel Brenneman. How do you start your daily morning routine, Daniel Brenneman?
I'm in and wow,
yeah, we were wondering. You're focus. I'm joking. There you go.
That autofocus get me. All right. So, Charlotte, North Carolina, and my morning, I start getting up, drinking my coffee, reading my Bible, and doing LinkedIn brain games. I know it sounds kind of funny, kind of weird, but gets my brain going, gets the juices flowing, and do that, and then spending time with my kids, getting them off to school, all of that, because that is top thing for me. And then right after that, it's LinkedIn posts, getting my social media presence going, and talking about the thing that I'm trying to bring into the world.
Is that how it went today, brother? Is that exactly how it went today? How did your morning routine go today, pal?
Absolutely. Well, other than the donut that the son came down and grabbed, threw it on everyone's plate.
Nice.
And now that it's Christmas time,
yeah,
I'll sit on the couch with my black coffee, because black coffee absolutely the way to go.
Yes.
And turn the Christmas tree on and the fire on. So, a little warmth, little ambiance. So everything and.
So what kind of donuts? I got to ask the question. Was it Dunkin' Donuts? Was it what kind of donut?
It was Dunkin' Donuts, only because we had to get them last night. If we were getting them fresh, it'd be Krispy Kreme, because they're hot and ready.
Yeah,
sir. Gotta stay on that.
Yes. We just had a Krispy Kreme open up here in Winnipeg a few months ago, and it is you drive by that place and it's madness. It's madness.
Did you go yet?
Don't go near.
I have not been, Marty, but the crew has been, and there have been Krispy Kreme donuts in the house, and they may have made into my belly along the way.
I understand.
Yeah, this is a piece of advice that I'm never going to be able to give somebody. I couldn't tell you what's fucking better, Dunkin' Donuts or Krispy Kreme. This is something that I have zero experience with.
So that's what makes you a better man than the rest of us.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say better. I would just say more disciplined in this arena of life.
Yeah. So Johnny, so Daniel, Keith, and Marty are gonna maybe jack up on Johnny for a second here. I think we're all curious of this. So Johnny, you have never had a Dunkin' or Krispy Kreme donut, and I'm being very serious with my question. If you had one, would it like mess you up in the head more so? Would it mess you up? Like, would you be chasing more sugar? Would it just be? And I know you're gonna say, I just don't do it, but I'm just kind of curious on behalf of us boys here. Like, Has there been any curiosity? Is there just no interest? If you had it, what would happen? Like, and I'm being very serious, John. What would happen?
So how's this? I'll tell a quick story to kind of summarize, before I attained the discipline to make that statement, right? So, an addictive personality, also a fucking gambling problem, so let's just add that to the eating fucking donuts addiction. I basically I've living in the Bay Area at the time. It's like 11 o'clock. I leave at 11 p.m. so I can get up to Tahoe when the tables are emptying out about 2 a.m., right? I get into Tahoe and I pull in I have to fucking get gas before I start gambling, or I'll gamble my goddamn money when I won't be able to get home. So that's rule number one. That's the state I was in.
Okay.
So I pull in to get fucking gas, and I'm pumping the fucking fuel, and I catch this fucking whiff. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that smells good. It was a fucking donut shop right across the parking lot. They were just pulling these fuckers out of the goddamn what do we call it? The fryer, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they were they were glazed donuts, and they were dunking them in the fucking glaze, and they were like hot out of the thing. So, of course, my addictive personality gets hold. I'm just going to have one. Come on. Are you fucking out of your mind?
Man.
You're pumping your fucking gas to make sure you can get home because you're about ready to gamble all your money away, and you're going to have one donut. So I go in there. I have one. I probably ate until I was so fucking sick. I almost couldn't gamble. Yeah. I mean, one addiction almost killed the next. That's how fucking bad, so.
How old was this?
Last week?
No,
I'm joking. Yeah.
It was shortly after college because what I realized was and thank God, I am so fucking grateful that I got this shot that just hit me like a goddamn lightning bolt. I was like, you know what? Your addiction doesn't care how many zeros in your bank account. You come up here and you fucking lose them all.
Yeah.
So whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, every time you come here, you lose them. You need to stop this because you're going to be a fucking degenerate fucking gambler at 40 doing the same dumb shit. So I was like, that's it. Wow. I fucking quit cold. It gave me such a view at where this addiction could take me. Because, literally, whether I had $50 or $5,000, it was going to fucking all be gone every time.
Yeah. Hey, Daniel, when you hear that, I like to create a safe, vulnerable space here in the lab, and I'm not asking you to stand up here and be naked and reveal shit unless you're comfortable doing so. But if you found yourself in a similar situation as Johnny or maybe myself or Marty, where you're like, you can't overcome something, you just do it, maybe to a point where it's destructive, Daniel?
Man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Not necessarily to that point. And here's why is because I was fortunate enough to learn early on that I can learn the lessons from everyone else.
Okay.
Without having to experience it myself.
Yes.
So I have saved
That's
a
powerful,
lot,
brother.
That is a lot of headache.
Yeah.
Across all arenas of life.
Yeah.
That and not had to deal with a lot of that. Oh, I need to get rid of it because I need to get rid of it because.
And Daniel, I asked this and I asked this with full grace and no judgment on somebody like myself or Johnny or Marty or maybe who's somebody who's battled with some challenges with addiction or so forth. Would you say, Daniel, I know you're a man of faith, and I know you've been a man of faith your entire life, and I know faith's a big part of how you start your day with your morning habits and routines. Would you say, Daniel, that perhaps was a big foundation for you to eliminate choices or eliminate paths you were going to go down because you started your day rooted in some great values, Daniel?
Absolutely. I would say it's the reason. Yeah. My parents are very strong Christians. Yeah. And they are even way more traditional and conservative than I am. But being raised in that, I was always smart enough to say, okay, I'm going to trust what you say and then figure out later if I want to deviate. And so I followed the rules blindly, got to, 20, 21. Okay. Why do we do this? Why do we do that? And started, trying some things out for myself, but it was very calculated. It was very methodical. And so, the values that I was raised in absolutely contributed to that.
Yeah.
That's amazing right there, because I'll be totally honest. I was the flip side of that fucking coin.
Me too, Johnny. Yeah.
I was told all of the things I shouldn't do. And it was almost like the fact that I was told I shouldn't do them, I had to do it. Now, granted, thank God that the values and the morals in the home were strong enough that, like, drugs and shit didn't enter that equation, thank God.
Yeah.
You know, but when it came down to like, I don't know, it's just, maybe it was part of that, me being dumb enough to believe. I believed I knew early on, which, you know, in many cases really fucked me up because I should have listened to my parents. But at the same time, it's also gave me what that belief, like I knew that I could do what I needed to do. I believed, you know, I believed I was right. I believed I could do it kind of across the board, which fucked me up a lot of places. But thank God I had it or I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah. For sure. And one additional thing I will say, two things that my parents instilled in me that helped with that is, number one, I was pretty talented as a kid. I play sports. I was good in school. I could play instruments. Like, there's a lot of things that I did. And my mom always looked at me and said, you've been given a lot of gifts. And with that comes a lot of responsibility. And then I was the oldest of 3 kids. And so my mom would always look at me and be like, they're watching you. So whatever choices you make are going to be made threefold. And so I always had that in the back of my mind as well.
Awesome. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith Bilous, Jon Andersen, C. Marty Fit, and our guest, Daniel Brenneman, back here mornings in the lab with Keith and friends. The only morning show to help you guys get your ass out of bed and hit those big goals. Hey, Brenneman, I gotta have some fun with you, pal. So you started the morning this morning. You gave your kid a donut. That's a good example to set the kid.
I know, wonderful kid. Wonderful example.
We got Jory joining us here in half. In 15 minutes, she'll be like, Brenneman, what are you doing, man? You're setting the kid up with sugar and donuts first thing in the day? Like, what the hell?
Quick question. When you had that donut, did you just have the donut first out, brother? Or did you, because if you did, I was going to say, I can give you a little tip that will help you have your donut and not have the same effect on your body. So did you eat it on an empty stomach?
Oh, I did. Well, I drank it with my coffee, but I did.
Okay, so check it out. Just eat like one whole egg prior, hard-boiled, because that one whole egg will then, when that donut comes down, it will basically, as we talked about, it'll take that glycemic and it'll slow it down. It'll take the average of the egg and the donut rather than the donut by itself. And so that.
Real quick, is that the whole like eat protein first mentality? Because I try to do that with lunches and stuff. See, normally I intermittent fast. I don't eat breakfast, but with the son's birthday and stuff. But when I intermittent fast, I always try to eat my protein first. Is that the same?
Yeah, very idea? Same concept. But the egg has fats. You need fats to slow that fucking donut down. Like a chicken breast, not going to slow it down the same. Got it. So avocados, different healthy fats like that as well. Yeah, fuck yeah. I mean, just put some fat in your stomach with some protein, and it'll definitely. What it'll do is it'll just make sure you can enjoy that donut without having. Because I'm really thinking about health. When that thing fucking hits, it tags your insulin. Insulin's like a light switch. It's only meant to be. It's got X amount of switches, and when we hit that fucker too much, it breaks. Now you're diabetic. Yeah.
And you know what's really cool too, Daniel? Hey, Jesse, I appreciate your comment, brother. So far, this is the best stream I could have come across this morning. Jesse, I appreciate that so much, man. We're trying to build something special for guys like you and me and Johnny and Daniel. I don't know about Marty, but we're trying to build the show for all of our friends here. But hey, so we're gonna do the Marty Fit tip here in a quick second here. What Johnny was talking about, Daniel, so myself and Lauren have done this before, is attached a CGM to your body, a continuous glucose monitor. And it's actually quite fascinating when you throw a donut in your body to watch your insulin go up.
I'll bet.
It's actually quite fascinating. It is, because and then do the same test, but do the egg first. So it's actually quite neat. So, we all don't need to wear CGMs, but when you wear them, it gives you a good visual indication of how food's working on your body. It's actually pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see it, right? Because it's like Johnny, it's like, okay, you put the gas tank in. Like I had a chocolate bar once, I put the CGM on, had a chocolate bar, and then within like 30 minutes, like the insulin just spike through the roof, right? It's actually quite fascinating because you see it. Right.
Well, you learn to actually feel it. Like if I eat something to spike my insulin, I can feel my temperature goes up. I start to lose a little focus. I mean, it's because keep in mind, insulin is like one of the most powerful hormones in the body. It's basically designed to keep you alive.
That's it.
Wow.
Let's do this. Let's give ourselves a break. Marty's going to do the fit tip, and then we're going to come back and have some fun with Brenneman. And I want to get into the conversation about soaking. Daniel, have you heard about soaking, Daniel?
That's about all that I can contribute to that, though.
All right, well, we're going to get into it in a few moments. We're going to learn more about Daniel Brenneman coming up in less than a minute. Marty, you're up, brother.
Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. We got another heavy hitter for the week. All right, this one here is going to be stop comparing yourself. Especially now in this social media age, we got so many people out here They're doing anything to get a quick dollar, doing anything to get quick engagement, basically to boost their clout. You know, first thing that comes to mind, people edit their photos. So you'll have, this is men and women. They'll edit a photo, try to sell you a personal training package, online fitness coach, right? And you don't even know that this person is faking it. You don't even know how long it took for them, if they're not faking it, how long it took for them to get this transformation. So stop comparing yourself. Focus on your progress. Did you get better? Did your weight go down? Did your body fat percentage go down? Are your clothes fitting differently? Do you feel better? That's what you need to focus on. Comparing is going to be one of the first ways to get you out of your fitness journey, right? You're going to think you're not good enough. You're going to think you're not worthy enough. You're going to think you're wasting your time. You're wasting your energy. Oh, my genetics are holding me back. And then you start to come up with those BS excuses that we talked about yesterday, all right? So don't worry about what other people are doing, because a lot of times they're lying. And a lot of the times people had just been in the game longer than you. And people also take PEDs, and people get surgeries to also sell you these plans. So don't compare yourself, all right? Get 1% better every day, 1% better every workout, 1% better every meal, and watch you hit those goals and watch your life change. That's the fitness tip for today.
There's the fit tip of the day. Powerful stuff from Marty. Marty, that's good stuff, man. Comparison's the killer, eh, brother? And everybody just compares, eh?
Yeah, man. It's hard not to.
It is hard not to, especially, in the fitness world. You're looking at pictures and it's compare, right? So, All right, you're back with John, Marty, myself, Daniel Brenneman here. Mornings and Live with Keith and friends. Daniel, before we get into the topic of soaking, let's spend some time talking about you and talking about Coach Shelton and what's on your mind in today's world of personal branding, LinkedIn, as you exit 2024, Daniel, and you look into 2025. What are you thinking, brother?
So I don't know if you remember last time, but we talked about content playgrounds, not content pillars.
Yes.
And so that's what's on my mind. I'm actually making it a focus of 2025, helping people create content without with being consistent. Very, very much like you're saying, Marty, is that 1%, just continuous action. Yep. And so the idea is content pillars are restrictive. In my mind, I'm kind of the anti-pillar guy. Here's why. If Marty, if your pillars are fitness, nutrition, your story, your personal experiences, your stories, 2 of those are going to be noise along every other fitness professional. So the one way that you can differentiate yourself is 50% of what you talk about. So you're going to become noise 50% of the time. But if you look at a content playground, which is what I've kind of come up with, and put on all 4 sides your top 3 values, top 3 core experiences, your top 3 frustrations, and your top 3 frameworks, or the things that you teach, and then take any 2 or 3 of those and combine them in the middle of that playground. You can build something creative and unique every time.
You know what's interesting with this, Daniel, is that when you look at the Mornings in the Lab show here, in many ways, you're talking about exactly that. I'm looking about this more like a playground than pillars.
Yep.
Right. So we have pillars that we, as you can hear and tell with our audience, they're very similar. But what I've also found is that those pillars can become somewhat restrictive, and there's a balance, right? And you know, the niche is mornings, the niche is men, the niche is accountability, the niche is business and fitness, but there's also culture and things that weave in there. So what you're saying, Daniel, is that the playground allows us to spread the pillars. Is that really what you're saying? And talk to me about through the context of perhaps the show, like coach me, instruct me. Like, are we doing good things, bad things? Where would you tell us to get better at? You know, because what I find is that what I'm leaning into is that our audience is Johnny. Our audience is Keith. Our audience is Marty. Our audience is Jesse Freeman. Our audience is Daniel Brenneman. And what I'm suspecting is the content we're putting out there is the content that you want to hear. Think of Men's Health, Men's Journal, mixed in with some Howard Stern stuff. So it's not always just fitness. There is some business stuff. Like, we got the right approach, right, Daniel? No? Yes?
Absolutely. You just said it right there. I don't know of anyone else who has fitness mixing with Howard Stern. That is a great handle. Because when you start looking through, like, here's how I teach it.
Yeah.
There are through points. There are threads that are going to connect your experiences all the way from childhood to the way things you do now to what you bring into the world. And so when you start to understand how your experiences shape what you do, you start to understand your unique perspective on it. So then I always say that the hardest struggle that you experience in life is the cornerstone of your brand, because it is the lens that shapes the way you see the world. So Johnny, your discipline is shaped through your addictive personality. So understanding that and talking about that helps others that are coming behind you with the same struggles, the same tendencies, to understand, hey, this is how I bring this into the world. And you're doing it in the fitness space, and you're doing it in this Howard certain type of way. Now there's no one else competing in that space, because it is so unique to who you are and what you do.
What's the downfall in that situation though, Daniel? Is it's, can one niche down too much in a with content playgrounds instead of content pillars, Daniel?
You can, but playgrounds are so broad
that
it can be anything you want. So here's an evaluative tool I use.
Yes.
I've found that when you live in the world of inspiration too much, you build a group of raving fans. When you live in the world of education too much, you build a machine that churns buyers. And so from a business standpoint, if I am living too much in one of those worlds, I want to then look at this on a sliding scale. Do I need to come back to 40% inspiration, 60% education? Am I more inspirational? Do I need to come to 60% inspiration, 40% education? And so you start to evaluate in that space, and you're able to understand how to move your content in a way that's resonating. And you listen for signal. And if it's too specific and the signal's not there, allow it to get more generic. It's just, there's a lot of flexibility in the playground that is not there when you're talking pillars.
Yeah. Marty, what are you hearing when you hear? I knew we were bringing Brennan back for a reason, because the guy last show just dropped nugget after nugget after nugget, and he just continuing here this morning. Marty, when you hear Daniel talking, you're a creator. You create some great content on the See Marty Fit podcast. When you hear Daniel talk about pillars versus playgrounds, what are you thinking about, Marty?
So I think Daniel's getting really into it, but I think it all comes down to being authentic and just being yourself. That's what we all do on this show. That's definitely what I do, because, the way I am on social media is the way I am in real life, and in a sense, it kind of is playing a character, right? You kind of probably Daniel, let me know if I'm wrong. But you're kind of playing more into your story or more into those pillars on social media. But in real life, you're still him, but you're just, a regular guy, regular girl. And but yeah, it just comes down to being authentic. That's all it is, because people can sense when you're faking it. People can sense when something's not real. We can feel it. Like when Jon Andersen got on the show, he knew me and Keith were the real deal.
Yes.
That's why he want to stick around. That's why he's still here.
That's right. Daniel, to Marty.
Let me real quick respond to Marty here. I think that is the truest thing you could say. And that's why I built this system, because a lot of people have a really hard time being authentic. So when you look at things through the lens of your values, your frustrations, your experiences, I teach that your audience is a true reflection of who you are. You attract who you are. That is a core principle.
Yes.
You attract who you are. But most people will say that and leave it there, which means you can't quantify it. But I've broken it down. Okay, if I'm going to quantify you attract who you are, how? Why? Your values, your frustrations, and your experiences. When you start building from that, you start attracting who you are. And now you understand your audience, and you're able to be authentic and relate to people exactly like you. And that's how I built this, because I'm like you, Marty. I like naturally authentic. That's how I vibe. But a lot of people feel like they have imposter syndrome. They feel like whatever. And I'm saying, hey, you have to put language to that. Because another thing, and I'd love to hear y'all's perspective on this, because this is a working theory, but that imposter syndrome has less to do with being in rooms you feel like you don't belong in, and more with doing with being there because you don't understand how you did it. You don't have language for it. And when you don't understand how you did it, then you're always worried it's going to pull out from under you. But if you have language for it and you understand how to quantify it, you understand that it's repeatable and how it's repeatable and how to evaluate it if it's not being repeated.
Let's use myself as an example for that, Daniel. So what you're saying is, so Keith, old Uncle Keith here gets nervous when he has to go speak at like corporate events or be part of corporate events, because I go into a boardroom and I'm saying to myself, what am I doing here? Like, I don't belong here. Yet Marty's like, well, Bilous, yeah, you actually do belong here, because you started a business, you're quite successful, you sold it, you ran a remote company with 500 people, you do belong here. But yet my head is telling me, what the hell am I doing here, man? I don't belong in this room next to Jon Andersen, next to Jeff Bezos, next to these guys here. So what you're saying, Daniel, is it's actually my own story preventing me from being comfortable there instead of that room not making me feel comfortable. Is that what you're saying?
I truly believe that if you put the proper language to it and understand
my own story,
and to your story, your frustrations, your experience, like this combination of who you are, when you put the right language to it, then you say, I know I'm in the room because I ran a business and I sold it. And the reason I was successful and ran a business and sold it is because I had these variables that I executed on, these things that I did. Therefore, this is valuable in all spaces, not just this accidental space I kind of stumbled into success on.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting when you make the comment about, you said a couple of moments ago about being authentic and being yourself and people buy from who they are. That's what I've been really finding interesting about this show. Because, you know, in many ways, Keith, Marty, Johnny, Flynn, Richie, like we're like a band, right?
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Like an entertainment product, right? And you're trying to find people that appeal to your band, right? And it's it's unlike a traditional business you'd start because I'm trying to say something with Daniel goes, oh, I'm leaning into what Bilous said. I'm going to come back and listen tomorrow, right? So when we got guys like Shinku or Jesse or John or Good Time, it's literally finding that ICP that they can identify with something I said or Marty said or John said, so they come back. It's really it's very, very black and white, Dan. It's been quite interesting to me actually, and frustrating at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that this is where a lot of people will say, find your ICP, define your ICP. And I just believe that if you excavate the language from who you are, you're going to have a really clear picture of who your ICP is.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Daniel, as we wrap up our segment with you, brother, what's one? So we talked content pillars, content playground. Let's create some content for you for the LinkedIn feed. What's a bit of advice somebody could take from you when it comes to creating their content playground?
When it comes to content playground, define who you are from the experiences you've had. Stop looking outwardly to define the variables that are going to allow you to create content effectively. Because when you start to put on the other variables that everyone's telling you need to put on that are not true, authentic, and alignment with who you are, then you are going to put an expiration date on your consistency.
Yeah.
And when you put an expiration date on your consistency, you run the risk of being 10 years down the road and hating what you built.
Yeah. Dude. It's what is sustainable? You know, I mean, if you're being truly organically yourself, it's fucking sustainable as it gets.
As it gets, man.
Yep.
What? So Daniel, that's a nugget, man. What did you say there? You're putting a deadline on your consistency. What'd you say?
You put an expiration date on your consistency.
Whoa. That's like saying in your calendar, okay, I'm done January 1st, 2030. I'm going to be done this whole thing. I'm done now.
But here's the wild thing is you don't know when that expiration date is.
I know.
You have no idea. And it's going to hit you in a moment. It's not going to lead up to it and be like, this milk's kind of bad. I got another 2 weeks. It's like, oh God, where did that come from?
Yeah.
And you're redone.
And if you're just truly sharing your story, sharing who you are, that milk never fucking goes bad.
No, because you're truth, right? Yep. You're always truth.
And it always evolves and it's always new and fresh when you're paying attention to your experiences that you're having in this story that you're experiencing every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's no expiration on truth, right? If it's a lie, it's going to catch up to you eventually.
Absolutely.
It's as simple as that.
And I wouldn't even say a lie if it's out of alignment.
Right.
If it is just simply out of alignment with who you are, it'll catch up to you.
Oh, I like that, man. Wow, that's powerful stuff. Daniel Brenneman, as always, brother, you're dropping nuggets. You're dropping nuggets here mornings in the lab with Keith and friends. Hey, dude, I got a question for you. So when you're not on the show, do you listen to us?
Absolutely.
Oh, good. So it's working. We're inviting people on and we're having them kind of tune in after.
What the fuck else is he going to say?
Well,
Jesus Christ.
It's funny, but I'm saying
say no.
No, I don't listen to it at all. I actually despise the show, but I like coming on. I just hate the show.
Good. So Jimmy, we're going to delete that part of the soundbite. I'm strategic with the question.
No, y'all going to clip that one and be like, look at this a-hole.
Exactly. Daniel, on behalf of myself, Johnny, Marty, Flynn, what's your son's name?
Carson,
happy birthday, brother. You have yourself on how old is Carson?
He's 6 today.
Oh, yeah. Go.
What a fucking amazing age, brother.
Oh, it's so much fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Daniel, you have yourself an awesome weekend. And listen, man, I got an open seat for you regular. You come back and hang out with us. I love the energy you bring. I love the topics you bring, and you always give us something to think about. I'm telling you, I learn something every time you come on the show here, and you have yourself an awesome day. And good time also wishing a happy birthday to Carson as well, and so is Dugan, Jack Dugan. So Daniel, have a good one, brother, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Sounds good. We'll see y'all.
Yep.
All right. Johnny, Johnny's got the lifestyle tip. Then we're going to come back with George Andersen. We're going to talk expensive food, and if we have some time, we're talking pooping too. Although Rich is not here, so pooping and expensive food.
What?
Let's get it, Johnny.
Come on, baby. All right, don't make this mistake. Too many people are trying to make progress by doing more, when the most efficient way is to look at your daily rhythm and find, even if it's just one bad habit to remove. When you remove a single habit that repeats itself every day, you will be blown away at the type of progress that you will make moving forward. So don't make this mistake that most people make, thinking, I got to do this, I got to do that. Adding responsibilities to an already difficult task, when all you need to do is break down how you live your life on a day-to-day basis and find that one mistake, remove it, and you'll be very happy with how fast you make progress. Rock and roll.
There we go. There's Johnny. Remove some bad habits. You're going to find progress. That's how it works. All right. We're back with Jory Johnson, Keith Bilous, Marty. Jory, what's shaking?
Oh, I'm just excited to talk about poop later. So
yeah, we're going to talk pooping. So we're gonna hopefully find some time here. We got Jesse hanging out with us in the comments here, and Marty.
I gotta roll early, but I just wanted to hear the fit tip and say hi to Jory. That was it.
Yes.
You're not going to stay around for the topic? Come on.
I listen. I wish I could stay here 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
What if I could?
All right, Marty. Good after, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
I'll talk to y'all. Yep.
For sure.
Have a great loop, brother.
You too.
All right, Jory, we've got some comments coming in from Shinku and the gang here on the side here. But Jory, let's get into, first of all, let's start the conversation. I thought it'd be good for both you guys here. I want to talk about the cost of food. Mm-hmm. Food's expensive. I know Johnny's always dropping nuggets on his Instagram feed with folks looking just for hacks on how to buy good food in bulk. And we had a conversation a couple of days ago where, you buy chicken in the frozen food section, but you look on the ingredients and it's more than just chicken. Where Johnny's like, no, if it's chicken, it should be just chicken.
Well, that's because they're buying that frozen chicken in the fucking TV dinner section. Yes. Go to where it's just fucking where there's truly food. You got to get away from the aisle where it's, if the chicken you're picking up is one door away from a Hungry Man fucking TV dinner, you got a problem.
Well, this is true. But Jory, let's I got some visuals for the screen here today. Let's just talk about it. Let's throw the conversation about eating healthy doesn't have to be expensive, yet most of us have, it is expensive. Jory, where do we start?
Well, I think where we need to start is like with anything, whether it's your business practices, whether it's your workout, you need a plan.
Yeah.
You need to have a plan. And if you don't have a plan, then as a lot of you say, then you plan to fail. Yep. Right. So the biggest one is to figure out what do you, and if you live with others, enjoy eating, and make that menu plan. Doesn't have to be exact, but make something. So you've got a plan. Now you look through, don't just buy whatever. So embarrassing. I helped my parents move and I looked through their cupboards, packing things. They had not one, not two, not three, not four. They had 7 bottles of vanilla in a cupboard.
Oh my God. It's expensive.
So, right. So look through when you've made your menu and you know what you need. You have to look through your cupboards. What do you already have? Scratch that off the list. Look through your fridge, your freezer, scratch that off the list. That would be the first part. Save money because you already have stuff, right? So look for your seasonings, like all that kind of stuff. And then you have your grocery list. Whether you put it on your phone, you write it down, bring it with you. Don't leave it on the kitchen counter or on the fridge. Bring it with you. And then the next part, which is the hardest part, is you stick to the plan. What's on the list is what you're looking for.
What you're buying. And don't go to the store hungry.
You know what's helpful with that is if you eat before you go shopping. If you're hungry and you walk in that store, you are in deep fucking trouble because every sugary treat on the shelf is going to be jumping out at you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Eat, hydrate, all that kind of stuff. Hopefully you've had a good sleep, so you make some good decisions. Like all of that is part of the pre-planning. If you plan, then you're prepared, and then you can execute the plan.
It's funny because I'm laughing because Shinko's like gonna buy garbage. I'm laughing because I'm laughing for how simple and taken for granted we do as humans. Like you just said, Jory, make sure you sleep, make sure you have hydration, make sure you have food before you go to the grocery store. Somebody's like, really? What the hell? Like, what are you going run a marathon? No, I'm trying to help make good choices.
Yeah.
Because we don't make good choices when we're tired, right?
Yeah. And we look for quick fixes.
Yeah.
So once you've done that, then the next thing you get to do is you go home and you prepare what you need. So like in my family, we're a small family of 3. So we're blessed in a sense that we're not going to have to spend as much as family of 5.
Yeah.
But that means not wasting things. So if we buy a big, package of chicken breast or chicken thighs, whatever it is that's on our menu, then we portion it out and put some in the freezer, some's in the fridge.
Yeah.
It's things like that. So that way you're not wasting, because if you're eating the same thing for 7 days, first of all, you shouldn't, because when in doubt, throw it out. But if you're eating the same thing all day long, all week long, you're not going to make a good decision. You're going to be like, let's eat out. And that's expensive. Throwing food out and then eating out is super expensive. So figure out ways to do that. I'm not a huge batch cooker. I think it's a great thing to do. It's just some people are not wired that way. So if you're not wired that way, don't feel bad. But the cook once, eat 2 to 3 times rule is really helpful. So if I'm making chicken, I'm going to make extra. So that way tomorrow I can season it up a different way. So then it's eaten differently. It's not the same chicken meal for 3 days in a row. So, there's some things that you can do to save money around that. The other thing too is, how else do you save? Like, I love a good latte. I really do. I can also make one for $1 versus $7 by doing it myself.
But it's not the same though. Right, because there's a social experience, and I'm just challenging a little bit, because it's like I want to go with Jory and have a latte. Yeah, but if you don't have a latte, it's 30 days a month, you just save yourself $200. No, but I want to go sit down and have a latte with Jory.
Well, then then don't go. If you're getting your latte through the drive-through, then you can go with what Jory's saying, because if you're looking for the experience, you're paying for that experience, but the experience is not the drive-through.
I mean, I would say, like, it's like your treat day or a treat meal or whatever, right? Go for it, for sure. Have that experience. But when you're looking at, I can't buy my family vegetables, there's a way to do it.
Right.
Just like I can't work out at night because I've got all these, I got to drive my kid here, there, I got to do this. Well, then you got to get up early. Right. So you figure out what works for you. Is it necessary? And like you said, it's simple. Doesn't mean it's easy, because it's the mindset.
Yeah.
There's a whole nother element of this. Everything Jory said is spot on and wonderful, but there's another element. Like the majority of my clients, we need to help them save, but it's not always money. It's mostly time.
Yes.
And so when you can save time through this, that's where, obviously, like Jory's talking about, cooking once, eat 3 times. You got to figure out what does your life allow. You might be cooking once, eating 5 or 6 times. That's part of understanding how to make it work for you personally. A person has to figure that out. Some people, they have, their time is so much more valuable than money. They'll actually go as far as to have food prepared for them. Then we got a different challenge. Okay, we've got good whole food. What's it being cooked in? We talked about that too. So there's the whole idea of saving with food. There's the word save can attach itself to quantity, not just money, time as well.
Yeah. Jory?
I like that you have up here, like eggs. For example, I love egg bites. I made some with a bunch of budget conscious university male wrestlers the other night.
Yeah.
And it was great because we compared it. Like if you go to Starbucks to get their egg bites, you're going to spend $7+ whereas you can for like 50 cents have your egg bites. Right. It's a huge cost saving, and it's going to taste just as good. Like one of the guys was like, I don't like eggs. Let's see how this works. And he's like, this is beeping good, right? So he really found a way that was, you can make, several meals using your muffin tins, even mini meatloaves and things like that. Stretch it. I love using canned options. Frozen options are going to be cheaper than fresh. They will be.
Yeah.
Right. So when cost is definitely the factor, and if I think of those that celebrate Christmas or other celebrations, it gets really expensive. I want to buy my family awesome gifts, so I also don't want to not eat well. So these are some ways to do that, and swapping out different options. Reduce meat is super expensive, so some plant-based, mix it up. It doesn't have to be only a vegan meal if that's not your jam. Add it to, so a little less meat on the plate, and then add some plant-based protein, and that saves you quite a few dollars.
Yeah. Johnny, any additional comments on this, brother?
Yeah, I think, if you strip it all the way down, really what we're talking about, we're peeling the onion back to making a plan that works for you, and that's when it comes down to. And there's so many different facets, and a good plan does have a few different facets. And when you break it down, you understand what's best for you. You can actually save yourself a lot of time, energy, grief. It's most people, I think the biggest problem is they wander through this topic without actually doing. They're not recognizing they're going to the store hungry. They're not recognizing that they're, like George said, they're buying shit they already have. They're not recognizing the simple things they could do to make it better. And a little bit of inventory, a little bit of self-analysis, and people can sharpen this up pretty easily.
Jory, you mentioned canned over frozen. Is that your recommendation? Really, like buying canned vegetables over frozen vegetables, kind of thing, as an example?
That would be if you're super tight. Like I had a client a number of years ago, poverty line, right?
Okay.
So we went to the dollar store, and you're not going to find fresh whole foods at the dollar store.
Of course.
However, we did find options that were better than, going and buying pop for the family. So the canned lentils and beans, the canned tuna and salmon, those were ways to save a lot of money for that particular family. Now, if you're looking for people that have more money than that, I would choose frozen over canned. Canned generally is going to be higher in sodium content.
Of course.
So, right, because it keeps it. That's why its shelf life is so long. And so I would choose, in terms of health, fresh first, expensive. So buy seasonal type of things, then frozen because it's picked, packaged at its best. So, and then it's frozen, and then go to canned. So it depends on your budget. It depends on your taste preferences, all that sort of thing. But in terms of health-wise, fresh is always, usually, I shouldn't say always, best, and then moving backwards. So the less processed is always the better option, and less that takes away from feeding your family.
Yeah. We got a question from Jesse Freeman. Quick question for you, Jory, before we rock and roll here. And Flynn, if you want to come up for a quick question too before we leave, Jory. And Nation, we're going to get to the pooping topic on Monday. We'll get to it early next week here. Great conversation about food here.
Jory, we gotta have enough time for that topic. We can't just skip across that one.
I know. Yeah. Segue from eating healthy food to shitting. Jesse has a question. Jory, I have a question. Is it weird to like deviled eggs, but at the same time not liking mustard, but still enjoying the deviled eggs?
Oh no! I mean, and weird is good. Weird is not.
Yeah, thank you, Jory. I was gonna say, let's set that straight. Weird is a fucking good thing. Why does it got to have a negative connotation?
We welcome weird here, Jesse.
Because you're adding other textures and flavors, so it's gonna modify what that mustard tastes like. I'll even take the yolk out of a hard-boiled egg and add in hummus. Right? It's just an alternative. So you can do a lot of different things, and it's not the same deviled egg, right? Or the same hard-boiled egg, whatever it is. So no. I mean, you're a good weird. All good. Yeah.
Flynn, you're a mom. Jory's here talking healthy food and budget food. Questions for Jory before we rock and roll, coming from your head there, Flinner?
I mean, you answered a lot of my questions. I think it absolutely adds up, especially when you're trying to get the kids fresh food and they like the berries versus the bananas, or they, like the stuff they're eating is the more expensive stuff. We have recently gone to more frozen things because we're able to fit that into our budget. And because of your point, which is it's frozen at its best point in time. Yeah. Is it the ideal? No, it's not the ideal. You're going to get quite the crisp on the broccoli the same way as if it was fresh. No, it's not. But when you are trying to be budget conscious, I think that's a great tip for people, the frozen. And then if they like berries, put it in a smoothie, because then you can do the frozen berries, all that kind of stuff I think is really helpful.
Well, the frozen fruit even makes a nice pretend ice cream. Like it's so good, right?
Yeah, we do that, or we do that as like we'll put it on the stove and then that's like jam.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
Little side note on
the fresh is great, but also are the slightly, it's not highly processed, it's the slightly processed. So, the frozen option, it's still processed, but it's a better option. The canned is a little less, but it's still a good option.
Yeah. Johnny.
Yeah, I was just going to say on the whole parenting thing with good foods and whatnot, we hear so many parents say, oh, my kids won't eat that. Well, it's because you're still giving them the fucking junk. You stop giving them the junk and you give them the good food. Promise you, when they get hungry, they will eat. But you have to take the bad food away. And you do that. I mean, that's the way I was raised. Food was prepared. It was good food. And if you didn't eat it, you were hungry. I mean, I didn't have a problem with that because I was a food lover. I was a fat little son of a bitch. But the bottom line was, if someone prepares you food, that's the food you eat. You don't bitch and
that's
complain,
the lesson we had to learn, which was, okay, that's cool. You don't have to eat it. If you're hungry later, it's there.
Yes,
so you can walk away from
perfect.
the table, you can be done. If you're hungry later, this is what's available to you. And it does work, because if they're hungry, they're going to eat.
Yeah. The next thing you eat will be this. So you can choose to eat it now or later. It's up to you.
I mean, not the dramatic like my parents did, which was like, you're going to sit at the table and you're going to eat this until it's done. And then it was just me and my sister at the table. I had my warm milk and she had all her beans and we just sat there for hours. I'm not trying to do that, but it's just like, it's there. It's available. So that's what you're going to have if you're hungry.
That's perfect.
Love it.
Jory, as always, thanks for hanging out with us today. What do you got planned for the weekend here in Winnipeg? It's a cold weekend. What do you got going on, Jory?
Yeah, well, probably like everybody else, starting to hack away at that Christmas shopping stuff. Some volleyball tryouts to go to, some dance rehearsals. It's all good. It's fun. I'm looking forward to the weekend. Actually.
Awesome, beautiful. Jory Jansen, we appreciate you, our resident nutritionist, our diet expert, our food expert here in the lab. We're going to be back on Monday with Jory and Shinko. We're going to talk pooping on Monday, Shinko. So come back Monday. We're going to make sure we have the time on the calendar to talk pooping. Jory, we know Johnny has some thoughts on that. So mark your calendars, nation. Monday morning, we're talking pooping with Jory and John. We never know what's going to go with Jory and John on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Jory, have a great weekend, okay?
Thanks, all of you too.
Awesome. Take care. All right.
Have a great day, Jory.
We got Flynn. Flynn's going to do the brand bite. We're going to come back. We're going to keep the dialogue going. We're going to get into fitness. We're going to go how I transform my bank account. We're going to get into soaking. And if we have some time, we're going to get into this creatine actually lose your hair. Flynn, let's get after it, kid.
Let's go. All right. Just because you fall doesn't mean that you failed. This week, it hit me hard. It was one of those weeks. I worked my ass off this past year, digging deep, facing my demons, trying to unravel things that were all keeping me from my potential. And the results were unreal, genuinely unreal. I've learned so much, including why the thing that is holding me back the most, which is that deep down, I don't believe that I'm worthy unless I'm producing something. Me as just a person in the world, I don't think I'm worthy. So when things went sideways this week, I fell really hard and I slipped back into old patterns. I thought I was back to zero, like the voice in my head who's not nice to me. She was real loud. Regina George, she was on full bitch for sure. And then my wife said to me, God bless her. She reminded me that I've been here before and I know this feeling and I know how to come back from it. And she was right. So falling doesn't mean I'm failing. Falling doesn't mean that you're failing. Falling is part of the process. And each time I fall, I stay down less. I know the steps to get back up. I'm more aware of what's actually next. And the same is true for you. If you're pushing hard, you're going to fall. It's a promise. And it's a similar feeling, but the way that you rise is going to be faster, stronger, and more intentional each time. So the next time you fall, when you fall, focus on that. Yes, it really is that simple. That is today's brand bite today. I have entered my no fucks era, and I promise you, if you take today's brand bite into account, you will be one step closer to entering yours. You got this.
There we go. There's Flynn, producer Kristina Flynn, Mornings and Live with Keith and Friends, dropping a brand bite, and I want to offer this up. I've been on this journey with Flynn, and I just want to say this publicly. I am more than proud of this human being. I'm proud that I get to know her. I'm proud that I get to work with her. I'm proud that I get to collaborate with her. And most importantly, I'm proud that I get to learn from her. And I've thoroughly enjoyed watching Flynn's journey. I've thoroughly enjoyed watching the decisions she makes, and I'm thoroughly enjoyed just watching the vulnerability come to life here. I know Johnny and Marty and we all are, and I know even all the listeners are just thoroughly enjoying it. So Flynn, man, my heart is full of respect and lots of love for what you bring to the table. Really, I mean this sincerely.
Right back at you. And yes, Shinku, I am the F-bomber.
Yes, she is the F-bomber.
Swear a lot, and I love the word fuck.
One thing I love about Flynn, just real, man. It's real, and that's what I've thoroughly enjoyed getting to know Kristina Flynn as we keep building this thing together. All right, so listen, we kicked the show off with the show's about one of the key topic today is about how I my finances
transform my bank account.
It's just looking at a message here from Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy, that's healthy. Yes, Jory knows. So, guys, we know Jory spends a lot of time in Starbucks. Yes, why? Because she knows all the prices of everything there. So we think that Jory could probably save some money if she spends less time in Starbucks. Sorry, Jory.
Maybe Jory doesn't need to save money. So do you, Jory?
All right, let's talk about how we can save money, how you can transform your life through your bank account. And I watched a video with a young man here who put together a video together, and what I did is I took that video and I rolled it into the concepts of the business athlete performance habit and what we preach here every single day. So Jimmy, I'm going to throw this gamma up on the screen here, and there's some significant secrets to this, but actually there's no rocket science to it. Let's talk about it. The financial six-pack, pumping up your finances, 5 fitness-inspired money lessons to move your life forward in the bank and how you can change your bank account. And it's funny, Flynn, Johnny, because there's actually no rocket science. It's just doing some things very consistently, quite boring. Sounds like everything we talk about here on the show. So let's just do this. Delayed gratification, the financial six-pack. Listen, saying no to unnecessary expenses, just like passing on that midnight stack. And Jory dropped it and Johnny dropped it, earlier on in the show. Right? You can choose to go for the $7 latte, or you can have that latte at home, which does that delaying gratification approach, right? Looking at reaping rewards and investing patiently. So taking the time to go slow and enjoying the progress instead of the perfection, just like your fitness or your lifestyle journey, right? We're also focused on the quick hits. Johnny, we talk about the gambling world there. I'm right there with you. If we can delay gratification, you're more than likely going to achieve a financial six-pack. Marty. Johnny, Flynn, and comments on that. Delaying gratification.
Well, real quick, I obviously haven't seen the rest of these, but my position, I'm going to come at this from a different way. I think this is playing defense. I think this is the problem with people. People are sitting there. I think rather than putting your energy into pinching your pennies, put your energy into making a dime.
Yeah. So I don't disagree with you, Johnny. Where I'm coming at with this today is just this idea that your bank account's not going to change overnight, just like your body, just like your fitness, just like your lifestyle. It is a continued boring process. And it is a continued process of a day in, day out, patiently go to the gym, patiently make good decisions, patiently invest your money, but it's not going to happen with a quick hit. You're not going to wake up and go, all of a sudden, I'm going to be a bodybuilder in a week. I'm not going to be a millionaire in a week. It doesn't happen that way. So that's really,
I agree with that. I agree with that, but I think the journey of we get more of what we focus on. So are we focused on fucking pinching pennies, or are we focused on creating fucking dimes?
Yes.
So I agree with all this, but I think this should just be like a fucking subconscious habit that doesn't get any fucking attention.
I don't. So, Johnny, I don't disagree with you, man. I agree 1,000% with you, as a matter of fact. But again, I'm coming at this with encouraging folks to not think that they're just going to all of a sudden win the lottery and their life's going to change overnight. If you want to if you want to change your bank account, just like you want to change your body or your life, you got to put the fucking consistent work in day after day after day.
This right here is basically plugging the leaks in the bucket.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Then what you got to do is you got to get a fucking stronger spigot, fill it up your goddamn bucket. So don't get so lost in trying to find the holes. That none of this, like we talk about perfection, none of this is going to be perfect. Get the major holes plugged and then focus on getting a big old fat stream filling up that bucket.
Yes. 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 Well,
and I think from my perspective too, there's sort of like what we talk about with your brand. You can't be authentic if you don't know who the fuck you are.
Yep.
You can't be your authentic self. If your bank account is struggling, you've likely got some money issues. And I can speak to this from personal experience. So my inability to focus on anything other than a big grand slam that all of a sudden is going to change my bank account overnight made me and brought me to a point where I was making a lot of bad decisions. Yeah. So I needed to have more of the patience around it. And to your point, Johnny, I wasn't focusing on how do I actually monetize myself? I wasn't focusing on how do I make money? And so it was everything I was doing wasn't, okay, I'm going to save pennies over here. I'm going to worry about this $11 fucking subscription over here, which, listen, that's an issue too. But then I'm not even focusing on like, how do you actually make money and how do you monetize yourself? So for me, it was definitely realizing no one thing, which is what I tried to do over and over and over again, was going to change the fact that I didn't think I was worthy of asking for money for the shit that I would offer people.
Yeah.
Period. End of day. And when I got to understanding that in myself and I got more confident and comfortable in the fact that I am worthy and that I can make money and I should make money and there's nothing wrong with that, then a lot of this became a lot easier for me.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, and another element that we got to bring up too is that I'm speaking from an entrepreneur, a creator perspective. If someone has a set amount of money coming in every month from a job and they don't have a way to increase that, then this is your way to go. But I think from the standpoint of, give this some attention, get it in check, start your side hustle to create that bigger stream is really the message that I'm wanting to make sure that people hear in this. Don't get so focused. Don't get so focused on plugging the fucking bucket that becomes your life and you never moving forward.
Yep. No, but what I want folks focusing on, Johnny and Flynn, is the consistent habits that have to happen daily in order to achieve your bank.
100%. This is like the shit that has to become subconscious habit, and you fucking tuck it away and move forward.
Yeah, because somebody is so. I'll go back to the Starbucks thing. Fuck, I'm not making any progress in my life. No, because you're worrying about the little micro. So it's like somebody coming to you saying, Johnny, what should I do about having that chocolate bar today? Well, fuck, what's the rest of your diet look like for the rest of the week? Like, you're not just going to change your whole life because of that one chocolate bar. It's building consistent habits with your financial spending and how you're going to go about doing so or making the decisions. So, for example, one of the things we got here on the screen is beware of depreciating assets. Right. So you talk to any big financial expert, somebody who's made big cash, big athletes, the first thing they want to do is they want to go buy a brand new car. The first thing they say is don't do it. Do not go buy a brand new car because it's going to depreciate quicker than anything else. But then that's where your ego gets involved.
The flip side of that, though, is you may have to buy. I've been in the position where buying a certain vehicle with a 100% write-off was necessary.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden you got it again. Are you just kind of just frivolously wasting, or are you positioning yourself with your spending?
Yes. And here was really the key point that I wanted to throw up here with our conversation today, that the consistency, just like the gym, just like fitness, and just like a lifestyle, is really the secret to financial gains, right? Small, consistent, manageable investments. Staying the course. So again, putting the reps in the gym. If I bring it back to the gym, get into the gym, starting with a walk one day for a kilometer, Maybe the next week you're going for 2 kilometers. Maybe the next week you're going to go, okay, I'm going to go try to run a marathon in a week from now. And then it's gaining confidence along the way. So again, back to the financial world. Okay, I've taken Jory's point of view. I'm not going to have lattes and I'm not going to have egg bites at Starbucks. I've now find myself saving $20 a day. Oh my God, over the month, I've now saved $1,000. I can now go out, put this $1,000 into something else. So, right, it's just about this idea of starting small, staying the course. And then over time, you're going to reap those long-term benefits, just like going to the gym, just like making good, healthy lifestyle choices. And that's why I really wanted to bring this back to, there's not a lot of rocket science with this, especially with our audience. But the problem is, I believe it goes back to accountability, Flynn and Johnny. Showing up and doing it day in and day out, Johnny.
And brother, so true. But what you're saying is true on the other side of the equation too. You basically plug the leaks in your bucket, which we're talking about here, and you want to go start getting that bigger stream. That bigger stream is built with the same fucking shit, the same daily habits.
That's exactly
so
right.
We're talking about exists on both sides of the fence.
Yes,
you can't avoid this. The question is, are you putting the right amount of tension into the right spot based on what you're trying to do in your situation?
Yeah. And the last slide says it right here, Johnny, right? Your financial transformation starts now. You can lift your savings, you put some time under tension, you track your progress, and your bank account will change. Regardless if you're looking to plug holes in the bucket or if you're looking to increase the bank account, no different than hitting into the gym. You're going to lift, you're going to put some time under tension, and you're going to track your progress. And if you look at Rick Clody here with some great comments here, which is both things can be true at the same time, inch by inch, anything is a cinch. He's bang on. And we got Jesse Freeman coming in with, once I fill my bucket, I'm going to make a bigger bucket and keep making more buckets for further generations when I get into good. And Jesse, you're bang on, brother. I love your analogy. You're right. So, and that's how you build confidence. Flynn, Johnny, right? Yeah. So Jesse's like, okay, I filled this bucket. All right, I got to go to the next one now. And I love that analogy because, just filling buckets and then they start overflowing, get into the next one is a great way to move that forward.
But to Johnny's point, if you don't fucking fill those holes, it doesn't matter how many buckets you actually build. And for me, I start all things with the why. If you have a financial problem right now, spend some time reflecting on why that is. Because I promise you, what the message that's in your head may not be reality. The message that's in your head is, well, I haven't had this, or well, I haven't been able to do this, versus saying, listen, we got money issues. Some people got money trauma. The way that you grew up, the way that you were socialized, you didn't talk about money. It was a bad thing. And all that's cool, but you need to spend some time actually figuring that out as well, figuring it out. Just reflecting on what is the reality of why you're in the situation that you're in right now, so you don't continue those mistakes as you move forward.
Yes. All right. Hey, listen, you're hanging out with Keith, Johnny, Flynn. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, the only morning show to get your day started here. Looking at my clock here. I want to get to something, which is what happens, Jimmy, what happens when faith meets human desire? I'm going to tell you right now, nation, you get soaking. And it is absolutely not what you think. We're going to have some fun conversation for the next few minutes as we walk Johnny out of the lab here. But nation, let's lean into this. I've just recently learned about this in the last week, and I just couldn't wrap my head around this, so I had to talk about it here in the lab. Shinku, I hope you're paying attention. Jesse Freeman, hope. Rick Clody, pay attention. In Mormon culture, some young people have devised unconventional ways to explore intimacy while staying technically within the rules. Flynn, it's like a hot dog. It's called soaking.
Okay.
Well, then you said you broke up. You said technically staying inside the rules. Is that what you said?
Yeah, technically staying within the rules. Perhaps technically staying within the morality rules, Johnny. And it's called
the rules of Mormonism. They're very clear.
And it's called soaking, and it's as wild as it sounds. So let's get into what soaking is. And I got a little thing here I'm going to pull on the screen.
I think you said this is Mormon. Is that correct?
Yeah. So what is soaking? So, Johnny, soaking is the practice of inserting the penis into the vagina without moving or thrusting. It is apparently a loophole in the Mormon practice, attempting to bypass the strict law on chastity. Now, what does sometimes happen, Flynn, is that if a third person could come involved, when they jump on the bed, they create what's called jump humping. So, for example, we know.
I'm sorry. What?
Jesus Christ.
No way. And listen,
for
a
the
lot
love of
to add to
Christ.
this. I almost became a Mormon one time, so I
For
could
the
add a
love of
lot.
Christ.
You almost became
For
a
the
Mormon.
love
I
of
almost became
Christ.
a Mormon, and then I met with missionaries and everything. I was going to Mormon church. Mormons know how to have a lot of fucking fun without any substance. It's wild. And you know what? Then I realized as soon as I met with missionaries, I was like, oh, fuck, I just love this girl. I'm a lesbian.
I'm glad you said it, because I was going to wait a minute. I was going to become a Mormon once, but then I woke up, no, I'm queer instead. Like,
I was like, oh, yeah, no, I just love her. She's Mormon. My bad.
So apparently, guys, so think about a hot dog, right? You put the penis inside of the bun and it just sits there. That's what soaking is, right? So, and Mormon, the young Mormon culture, and Johnny, you got young daughters. I got a young daughter. I was talking to my young daughter about this last night, actually. I'm like, hey, I'm talking about soaking on the show today. She's like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, hey, it's part of, it came up on TikTok back in 2009. Yeah. So, and it took a life of its own, it took a life of its own on through social media, but the motivations and justifications for this is that, you know, young couples are wanting to experience intimacy. They're wanting to satisfy urges, but they need to avoid sex in the Mormon culture. So what they've attempted to do is do what's called soaking. And like I said, Johnny, the third person that happens is that when you're sitting there soaking inside of your partner's vagina, the person would jump on the bed and move your bodies up and around, but then at least you're not the one who's thrusting or moving your body, so that it's actually not considered sex.
How do Mormons define sex then? I need to know this.
Well, so sex in Mormon culture is defined by moving the penis around in the vagina. So there has to be humping.
The act of moving the penis into the vagina is not sex?
No, so if it just stays there, then no, it's not sex. And I've done this.
What about the movement of getting it in there?
That's it, but come on, it's soaking. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Jesus,
it has to go in. It has to move.
Yeah, listen,
the vagina.
I'm with you, Kristina. I'm like sitting here. I'm sitting here like going. I mean, Jesus Christ! If you want to hump. Don't fucking do all this fucking parading shit to make it like, okay, yes, I'm not actually breaking the rules. Jesus Christ, come on now.
But we know this shit is deep, right? Like there's a genuine belief.
Yes.
That like there's a continuity to Mormon beliefs that you are not just this life, you are building for your next lives and lives and lives, and you want to have that opportunity. If you break the rules, you don't get that opportunity.
Yes.
I know a lot. So
Rick Clody calls it marinating.
that's one way.
Yeah, honey, I just all I did was stick it in. Something tells me Terry's not going to accept that.
Who is that? It's fun for one side of the equation. It's definitely not fun for the other.
Yes. So,
and are you allowed to get to climax? Are you allowed to orgasm then?
Well,
that's why the motherfucker's jumping up on down on the bed.
Exactly. Yes.
So if you orgasm,
somebody else is.
You're not the one thrusting. That's okay.
And that's what I'm saying is so pathetic here. For Christ's sake, you know, it's like here's the thing. We strip it all away. What we have to look at is the spirit of how we're trying to live. And you can come up with all sorts of fucking goofy ways to get what you want, but you're breaking the spirit. And if you're breaking the spirit, then you're fucking up. That's the way I see it.
I like that analogy as it relates to this. I haven't always understood that analogy, John, but I like it. I like it because it's true. It's like you can find technicalities. You can say to yourself in any situation, well, I'm not actually breaking the rules. I'm actually doing this. But the spirit of the rules is what you're trying to respect.
Yes. In perfect example, in the strength world, in a strongman is a fucking cheating man sport. We are all looking for ways to get the advantage, right?
How do you even cheat?
They literally brought in kind of a blanket rule. If the judge feels that you're breaking the spirit of the event, you're going to basically get disqualified. Because
give me an example. What would that look like?
Yeah.
And so the idea behind, okay, everybody knows what's supposed to be happening here. And are you breaking the spirit of what we're trying to do? Because if you are, you're fucking up.
I want a physical example of what does cheating look like in Strongman. Like, how could you cheat when you're trying to have an atlas holder over your head?
perfect example, right? So like on a stone carry, it's a 350, 60, 75 pound, basically like a field stone, like you find in a field. You got to pick that fucker up and walk as far as you can. Okay. Well, the rules say that it has to be suspended with your arms, nothing else. So like, before this whole spirit of the rule thing came out, fuck, I was really good. I would get that fucker up. I would hold it high. The judge would see that I was in place. He would tell me to go. And as I walked, I would let that stone come down and rest on my belt buckle. That makes sense. Right. So all of a sudden now, a lot of that weight is on my belt, which is a lot fucking easier than when I'm holding that shit with my arms. That's breaking the spirit of the rule, because it's supposed to be suspended by your arms only.
Got it. Okay.
I knew what I was doing. Fuck yeah, I knew what I was doing.
But it didn't matter because you were like, it's a loophole.
That was before are you breaking the spirit of the event?
I mean,
breaking the spirit of the
you
rules.
won't like this conversation, John, but this is a great conversation for American politics, because that's exactly what Trump has done. He's in a lot of instances not technically breaking any rules, because they're not really rules, they're conventions. And so he's saying, well, if it's a convention, I'm not really doing it. But if you were to look at the spirit of democracy, then that would be against the spirit of democracy. Anyways, I know you won't have that conversation, John, but that's what
you can talk politics all you want. I won't.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. You're hanging out with Keith. Johnny and Flynn here, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends here. We're wrapping up our conversation on soaking. And I see we got Adam Peters waiting for us in the green room there. And we got a funny comment here from Rick Clody, which is wrapping up this conversation on soaking, which is try explaining that to your partner. Yeah, honey, I was just soaking. I didn't take a bath or scrub or anything. And if you're tuning in now wondering what soaking is, I invite you to go back to the top of the conversation here.
Say it. Honey, I was soaking and there was no jumper. So I was safe, I didn't get off because nobody jumped.
Yeah, I fell asleep. I'm sorry, but our jumper didn't come.
That's it. That's it.
Which meant I didn't come.
My bad. All right. Okay, well, let's wrap her up here, guys. Let's wrap it up with Johnny, because I know John. No, we're gonna wrap the show. We're gonna wrap it up with Johnny, and Johnny's gonna get on with the day here. And myself and Flynn are gonna welcome in Adam Peters. I can see him hanging out in the green room there, waiting for us. Be here in a couple minutes. Johnny, what's on the agenda on the weekend loop, brother?
So right after this, I got a team meeting with the team a little early because I got to get on the road. Basically going from team meeting, basically loading up the vehicle, and off we go to see the oldest daughter do the dress fitting. So it's going to be a fun day. That's exciting. Are you going to be part of that as well? Well, this is actually the second one, so I get to be more a part of it. For the first one, she loved it at the time, but then decided she didn't like it. So the fathers are not supposed to be too involved in seeing what's going on. But the second one, I think I'm going to get a little bit more exposure this time around. Ah, there you go. Nicely done. But when it comes down to, it's a weekend that's based around her dress fitting. So we're going to spend time with the grandson and all sorts. So it's going to be a great weekend. A great travel trip with Terry and the girls, and have yourself a great time. And we'll look forward to reconnecting with you on Monday of the start of next week's loop, my friend. Yep, and I will be in a hotel, so I'll see you guys. I'm not sure what. I'll be there, but I'm not sure where I'll be. I look forward to it, pal. You travel safe. Say hi to Terry. Say hi to the girls for us, and safe travels. You safe travels, okay, brother? Have a good loop, guys. All right, pal. All right. Johnny Anderson's going to head out of here. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Myself and Flynn are hanging out. Producer Jimmy is on the buttons here still. And I see your comment there, Shinku. Yeah. Politics gets people into feelings best to avoid. I don't know. They kind of intrigue me here. I'm thinking about maybe adding a segment to the show here where we can maybe have some conversation around that. Because you said something, Flynn, which is quite intriguing to me too. I've done some surveys around the world that's the definition of democracy is rapidly changing. And I'm not suggesting there's a right or a wrong with it. I'm simply saying that they've done some research around the world, and the definition of democracy here in Canada might be very different than the definition of democracy in other parts of the world.
And I find that fascinating because, you and I grew up, well, I got a couple of years on you, and I'm more close to
Quit putting us in the same generation.
I got
We're not
called
the same.
I called him that yesterday. But Rick Clody and I are, same generation that, we grew up with thinking what democracy was. But as time has passed beyond us, maybe that is a new definition that we need to consider.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it's a conversation we need to have that in particular places in the world, documents and lands that were established by 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds at the time, maybe there's some changes that need to be made to that. And that's okay.
Right? Oh, you think the 20-year-old didn't have any experience when he was making the decision?
Weird. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's just a way to think. Yeah, like I'm right now, when I think about the things I'm going to teach my kids, democracy is not top of the line. Like, to me, the civic responsibility conversation and like what it looks like to build community, that's not always going to be aligned with a direct conversation on democracy. So I think we do have to acknowledge that, yeah, one, a definition is not always the definition in different places in the world. And two, it's okay to evolve. Because if you don't evolve, you get folks like we currently have in office that are going to exploit the things that they see that are not law, but are convention. And there's a lot of fucking conventions in democracy that are being exposed.
Well, but I can. We got Shinku popping up with, I thought democracy was everyone has a voice. So Shinku, so did I. But I live in a country now where we don't have democracy. We live in a country where it's pretty much a communist state, that we don't have a voice. They just tell us what to do, and it's regulation after regulation. It's a law here, it's a law there. It's like, fuck, can't do anything. So to me, that's not democracy, right? So I like myself what might be happening in parts of the world where they're saying, you know what, fuck status quo, man, because there's just that desk over there is just piled up with too many papers, too much regulations, too many laws, too many rules, too many, you can't do this, you can't do that. Hold on a second here. Why can't we all just go make some money and build society again, right? Anyways, we won't get into that right now, but I love this conversation around what isn't democracy and how and so forth, because you're right, So yeah, Shinku, so democracy equals communism. There's some would argue that, Shinku. Some would suggest that might be happening, or it's a new definition of it, right? Do we want to be in a society, a democracy where we're all following behind, a singular leader? I don't know, right? Some parts of the world are happy with that, right? We know the world has shifted very much to many more authoritarian states than there were in the past. So I don't know. It's fascinating conversation for me. I love it. I think it's a good one. And to me, it's not about right or wrong. It's just about, what's happening in the world right now. We got Rick Clody joining in. Yeah, Kristina Flynn, you mentioned that there are words that we don't use more that are awesome, like cornucopia. Ideas. You're right, Clody. You're absolutely right. And again, that's kind of what I'm hoping to achieve with this show here, is that introducing words, introducing ideas that we've erased. So again, I'm the first person to say, I believe the world has become too WOKE, woke. But I'm also respectful of humans in my world that might be caught up in that situation. So how do we find a fine balance? How do we still have fun in a world where we can be respectful and kind, but yet still revisit some of the things that we want to visit? So
listen, a lot of times the empires need to fall in order for real change to happen.
Yes. Yeah. And Shinku, Flynn, you're absolutely right. That's exactly.
So I think that's what we're seeing.
Word democracy sounds nice, but is really authoritarian. Shinku, dude, I'm with you, man. I will hit the drum shot on that one as well. And then Clody jumps in with one vanishing idea is personal responsibility. Yes, Clody, that's another one, because it's just so easy to just give it to somebody else, right? Oh, it's not my fault. That's fuck their fault. No, it's not my fault that latte was full of sugar. No. It's always somebody else's fault. All
Adam Peters. Let's welcome Adam Peters.
Flynn's like, let's lighten it up. Jimmy's like,
let's bring it up. Peters. I'm excited to meet him. He's got a beautiful.
So actually, right now I'm getting so Clody, Shinku. Right now I got producer Jimmy texting me going, I just remembered Lisa Sparks, and I'm like, Lisa Sparks, who's that? He's like, oh yeah, the woman that wants to sleep with 1,000 men. Yes, that is Lisa Sparks. Adam Peters, good morning. Good to have you here. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Jimmy, let's do this, man. Let's do this. Let's bring up this. I got some fun here with Adam. I got something I want to put up here. So, all right, let's do this. We're gonna bring up this. Boom. All right. So we have Adam Peters here. He's empowering growth through adventure wellness coaching. He's all about a journey of resilience and growth. He's got 10 years of military service. He's got federal law enforcement. He's a backcountry guide. He's a wellness coach.
No. That's the recommendation you had me send you. That's the guy that I wanted to shout out.
Oh,
that's not me.
There you
That's
go.
Tony.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Okay, then we're going to shout this dude out. I thought so. You're seeing Bilous make mistakes on the air.
We all make mistakes.
Hey, we're all human, right?
That's just how it works. So I'm going to pull this off here. I was working on this last night and I got the wrong thing up there. So Adam, I'm sorry about that, but let's put that aside. Let's introduce you to the show. And Adam, we celebrated. Yes, Rick, it is a live show. We celebrated Adam Peters a couple days ago. We celebrated you as the Creator Spotlight. Thanks for joining us here on the show. Adam, where are you joining us from today, brother?
I'm in Florida, brother.
Yeah. How's it going down there in Florida today?
It's cold. I don't like it.
It's not real cold.
No,
it's not real cold. You're talking to two Canadians.
No. Peters,
What's
I'm in
cold?
Manitoba,
What's
Canada,
cold?
and it's minus 26 Celsius right now today.
Well, you can have that. I live by the beach for a reason, man.
You could have that.
So, Adam, we I think was it Flynn? Was it Rick Lodi who celebrated? I think it was Rick who celebrated Adam, was it?
No, Sammy.
Sammy Nordland. Sammy Nordland celebrated Adam Peters and said that we want to celebrate Adam as our Creator Spotlight. So then we got Adam on the show here today, and we surprised you last week with the Creator Spotlight itself. But Adam, tell Business Athlete Nation about yourself and why somebody should care about Adam Peters.
Yeah, man. 13-year Army veteran, 4 deployments, almost 5 years in combat. Went through a really dark time. Took me 8.5 years to really get my shit together in the transition. It's a weak spot, and I needed to do something. Everybody talks about the 22 a day. We got to do something. So I decided to get off my ass and do something about it. Started the podcast. Created a community that's the antithesis of Facebook groups so that people can come be vulnerable in their transition, get advice from other people that are going through it. And I just generally want to make the transition process better for veterans because it's shit now. And it's a check the box, cover your ass kind of thing for every branch of the military. They don't give a shit about you when you're done. And I do. I want our brothers and sisters to stop killing themselves. So that's what I'm out here trying to do.
Adam, can you explain the community aspect of what you're building? You said the antithesis of a Facebook group where people can come and be vulnerable. How did you create that environment? Because I think that's something that's needed in all aspects of community, quite frankly. But I think a lot of people are struggling to actually create those spaces. How did you do that?
Yeah, I just a couple of things happened to me. I went to flight school when I got out of the Army. In instruments, it's really hard to learn instruments. So I joined a couple of like aviation groups to just get industry knowledge from guys, gals in the profession, help me out. And I would ask basic questions and I would get ripped to shreds. And I noticed that same thing's going on in veteran groups. So I just created a school community, no fluff, no bullshit. Just come in there, member driven. I won't put courses. I won't put workshops. I won't run office hours unless you want them. You want to talk to me, you want advice, whatever. I just wanted to create a safer space where you can come. You can post whatever you're going through, knowing you're not going to get destroyed in the comments for being weak or asking for help or whatever. And I generally, there's 30 people in there right now. And I just wanted to create a space that you could come, have access to me, other people who are building businesses, transitioning, figuring things out, and just not have to deal with the toxicity of Facebook.
So how did you get that ball rolling though? Because that's always the challenge of community is like, you need to have so many people in there in order for it to work, but you don't want to have too many people in there. And it's like this very chicken and egg. So how did you perpetuate that mentality that really the culture that you wanted to set in there, which was like, this is no bullshit. You come here, you do this, because it's one thing to get people in. It's another thing to get them engaged. How'd you do that?
Yeah, I'm still working that out, still trying to get people out of their own way, still trying to convince them that you can come to this place and, put all on the table and you're not going to get destroyed for it. So I just took action. Honestly, I started posting on LinkedIn, tried to find a niche, found the niche after presenting to a veteran skill bridge program, and then just kind of started talking to people and just kind of kept gathering feedback, implementing that feedback. Like, hey, we need community. That's what we're missing. We need community. I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I just start, just kind of do it. And, it ebbs and flows. People come and go, some see the value, some don't. Others, a lot of others see the value and they want to partner with me. They want to help me build this thing, in the areas that I may be lacking. Like I said, I don't like creating courses. I don't want fluff. So there's other veterans out there. I have a meeting with one next week that wants very much to help me create workshops that are needed based on doing the work that she's doing with transition. And so, I have this vision for a place where we as veterans can just come together and stop all the hating on one another and realize it's okay to ask for help and just collaborate and help each other get to where we want to be, which is generally just living better lives.
So dope.
Adam, I got nothing but props and respect for you, brother. I appreciate the service you've put in and so forth. Adam, I'm a huge fan of the moment behind the moments.
Yeah.
The moment is what the world sees. The moment is what society sees. But then there's those moments that are in those dark places, those moments that, you're getting up before you brush your teeth, or those moments you're walking down the hallway and the light's out and you turn the light on and there's something going on in your head. Adam, as you were transitioning, you use that word, as you were transitioning to try to figure, if I can, with all respect, use this.
Yeah.
You were transitioning to figure shit out when that part of your life was done.
Yeah.
Take me and Flynn right now in the audience, where that moment was within the moment where you recognized that you needed help.
Oh man. I think for me, it was when I got to my lowest point. I had failed at building an insurance agency because I got recruited into the scummy side of insurance, didn't know what I didn't know about chargebacks, about knocking doors, selling final expense to the poorest 1/3 of Americans. Went broke basically. And, then it was like, okay, where do we go from here? So I just decided we moved back down here to Florida. My wife chose, it was her turn to pick a place to go. Came to Florida, re-enrolled in flight school. Had a little challenge there. Some numbers were off when I was getting ready to take the check ride to be an instructor a week before. Ended up having to write a letter to the FAA and send them a check for $2, wait 6 months to get the paperwork I needed to take the check ride. And I was pretty low and defeated at that point. Found the Sean Ryan show. He talked about plant medicine. His wife interviewed him, talked about all the changes. And that's really kind of when I knew I needed help. I knew VA and the pills and all of that was not an option. I just watched too many of my buddies turn into zombies and still try to kill themselves on all the pills. So for me, it was like, this is the last straw. Like, let me see if plant medicine can help. July last year, went to Peru, got picked up by Heroic Hearts Project, and they saved my life. It changed everything for me. Everything. Everything I built has been since then, since I came home from that, lost 100 pounds. Wow. Realized that it's the strongest thing you can do to reach out, be vulnerable, tell them what you're going through and ask for help. All of it, everything.
Wow.
I just got goosebumps here and I got emotion in my eyes. Just to be honest with everybody. Whoa. You said plant-based medicine. Is that what you said? Plant-based or plant?
Just plant medicine. Ayahuasca, ibogaine, 5-MeO-DMT, mushrooms, bufo, whatever you're into, San Pedro, all of it. All of it. MDMA. Cannabis,
psilocybin, like all those types of things. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Interesting. So let's talk about that. I'm quite intrigued about that. Flynn and I live here in Canada where cannabis is a legal product. So talk about the benefits of plant-based medicine, because I'm fascinated by, you said, I'm seeing all my buddies die with old school pharma, popping those pills, and you discovered plant-based medicine changed your life, Adam.
Yeah, man. If you look, all the studies that have been going on here, Heroic Hearts has been running a study with psilocybin and MDMA. There was a big legal battle with the FDA or whoever regulates the shit here in the States, whatever. Yes. MDMA has been shown to cure PTSD in veterans at a rate of 78%. So what these plant medicines do is they rewire the neural pathways in your brain. Like scientifically, they recreate the connections that are lost in childhood traumas, combat traumas, TBIs, all that good stuff. And there's just so much we don't know about it because we can't study it because
exactly.
It's a schedule, whatever, it's illegal. And, for me,
and all the other corporate interests, right, Adam? Let's just fucking go there too. All the corporate,
absolutely, yeah, that's where we were headed. All the big pharma, the big food. These are secrets that have been kept from us, and these secrets, they're free. They're free secrets, right? Plant medicine's not free. I understand that, but all the things that you use to integrate with plant medicine, because you don't just go have a plant medicine experience and, oh, my life has changed. There's a lot of work that happens, a lot of integration, a lot of mindfulness, meditation, all that holistic wellness stuff that you guys were talking about earlier in the show today. Exercise, meditation, yoga, all that good stuff. It's all free stuff that rewires your brain and helps you heal from all of these things. Learning how to be mindful and sit with your emotions, trace those back to, why am I angry all the time? When have I been angry before? And follow that back, and you get to the source of the problem. And then, the only way, like Jordan Peterson says, the only way out is through. You have to face those things. You can't run from them anymore. And generally, I think that's what plant medicine did for me. It showed me the top of the mountain, showed me what I was capable of, taught me how to love and respect myself, and also taught me that I didn't have to play by society's rules and be put in a box. I could live my life for myself, whatever that looks like to me. I don't have to do it how Keith says I have to do it.
A wild lesson, right? And I've gone down this path of exploring this before, just with my own mental health journey. And I'm still at the fear stage. Like I've never done hard drugs. It's always been something I've been afraid of. And so I understand that these are not hard drugs, but the pathway in my mind is always like, I'm not ready for that. Like, I don't think I can go there. I've only ever seen the extreme. Did you experience the fear side of it? And if so, how did you get beyond that?
I was terrified. Yeah, absolutely terrified. Like you, I had no experience with drugs other than cannabis. Still an avid cannabis user, just in a different, light now, with intention instead of expectation. I was terrified, but how did I get over it? I was the guy that, whether I had the balls to actually do it or not, the guy that's sitting with the pistol in his lap because he doesn't know why he's here, or riding the motorcycle. This would all end if I just run this into the tree at 120 miles an hour. So for me, there was no other option. What were my two options on the table? Plant medicine, this terrifying, experience with a psychedelic that I don't know anything about, or I go to the VA and I get a mountain of pills and I turn into this drooling zombie that's a shell of a person that I am, and I probably feel worse and I still end up wanting to kill myself. Yeah. So I just made two promises to myself. I told myself I was going to go on the retreat and keep an open mind, and I was going to participate in everything. Cool. No matter how silly it seemed or how woo-woo or out there it was. And let me tell you, look at me now. I have long hair, long beard, hair is a source of power. Like, I'm basically a hippie now. It turned me into something that I would have never resonated with in my previous life. And my heart is so filled with love, and all I want to do is share that with everybody else.
Dude, that's so beautiful. And you talk about your wife. How did she go on this? She's obviously going on this journey with you, but we're not always doing the same things as our partners on these journeys. Like, was that a challenge between you two or with you two?
Not at all. No, she's the one woman in my entire life that has supported me, loved me, and believed in me unconditionally, even when I couldn't myself. So it's whatever you need to do to go get better, do it. And so it's been amazing.
You can tell, you can feel it. Your energy like radiates through the screen. You can't fake that.
Yeah. No, it's why I put the glasses back on, Flynn, because my eyes are all moist.
You can keep a moist eye, bro. We're about that here. If you want to cry, you cry.
Yeah, man. Dude, expressing emotion is purging the negative energy that lives inside of you.
I'm the first person to stand up there. Yeah, I'm not hiding nothing. No, I'm not. Just these light here is bright right now. I hide nothing. I
know you do.
I love the emotion that Adam's bringing to the screen here right now. I love the emotion, and I got nothing by my click. I look at the clock. I don't have all the time for all the questions I have for Adam, but I do have one question, Adam. Like, it is, and it's a fluffy cliche question, but I feel like I have to ask it anyways. How did you find the courage? Like, was it as simple in that dark moment where you're like, I'm gonna die,
yeah,
and I'm gonna die, and I'm good, and I want to die on my terms in many ways, is what you're saying to yourself. Like, that's like, you're at a low point, brother. And I'm only asking because there's guys tuning in right now, and I've been fortunate on my show to get to meet guys like Joe Malone and Rich Ingram and other veterans that I just nothing but respect for the lives you guys have led and the heroic efforts you guys have done. But I just sometimes can't. I got nothing but respect goes on your brain. Like, how do you have the courage to do what you did?
How do we have the courage to do anything that we've done?
Yeah.
I mean, look at your life. I don't know how to answer that question, man.
I know you don't, and but it's just because I think I think it's a superhero. Like, I look at you as a superhero. What I do though.
I'm just a human, man. I'm just a guy that wanted to live a better life, and you know, I'm a logical thinker. I like to explore all options. I like to have all the information, and so. You know, there was an opportunity, you know, through hearing Sean Ryan talk about his experience with plant medicine. Well, that's another avenue. That's more information that I have.
Yes.
What do I have to lose by going to try this? Because, you know, I'm eating myself to death. I weigh 311 pounds. I'm a diabetic. My cholesterol's through the roof. You know, I'd already beaten all the substances. I'm using marijuana way more than I probably should to escape everything. At this point, you know, I'm sitting on the couch. I'm not working, but I do have retirement money, all of that. My wife is working outside of the home. I'm not setting a good example for her. Like, what other option did I have? It's either I'm going to run this motorcycle into the tree, I'm going to start this pistol, or I can go outside of my comfort zone to a foreign country and explore something that I am hearing other veterans talk about changing their lives. You know, maybe I should look up to those guys as leaders and follow.
Oh, dude, you're a fucking leader, man. When you were in the military, Adam, were you the boss? Like, were you a captain? Were you no grunt?
And I only made it to staff sergeant or E6. I held a platoon as a staff sergeant after Afghanistan. I tell people, you can go listen to any episode of my podcast that's released, and I probably mentioned I think I was a very mediocre soldier. Particularly given what I know about myself now and the belief I have in myself, knowing what I'm capable of. But, you know, everybody's perspective is different. I still have a couple of guys. I just got off the phone with one last night who called me to tell me, he's like, "Oh, Sergeant, I got picked up for drill sergeant school and I fucking don't want to do it, but it's the path to sergeant major." I still mentor guys that are in the Army. Yeah. So apparently I was a good leader, and I don't give myself enough credit. You know what I mean? And that's where we all go wrong. We're our own worst critics. And believe me, I'm doing the work on myself to get that out of my head. But, you know, I will always feel a certain way about my career. However glorious other people want to think it was, I think I was very mediocre and I could have been much better.
I need to introduce you to Daniel Brenneman. Flynn, we got to introduce these two because Brenneman's.
Yeah, I was going to say, you need
Brenneman.
All the brand treatment, and you need to get your story out there. And we got people in the comments here, like Jesse. Jesse's 18, and he's saying, like, you need to be a motivational speaker. Yeah. You have the ability. Yeah. We got Rick Clody saying, like, you're a real dude, helping real veterans.
Yeah, I got to meet with Rick ewearlier this week, so it's been cool to hear his name dropped in here. I heard Rich Ingram. I've had him on my show. I got to talk to him. We're working on some public speaking stuff. Cody Hand is got the Speakers Collaborative.
Oh, that Cody's a friend of the show too.
Yeah, he's got the Speakers Collaborative. I had lunch with him a week or two ago and over in Orlando. He's going to put me on stage early next year as his veteran initiative. So. Yeah, man, I'm just a guy that wants to be a guy I didn't have when I transitioned. That's generally what I'm out here doing. I say it all the time. I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I have no end goal. I think the overall long-term vision for my brand would be to be some kind of skill bridge that helps veterans transition better. But I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and being an example. You know, it is what it is.
Peters, I got to tell you something, man, because what you just said is sometimes I'll be vulnerable. I struggle with some days too as I'm building this thing. But the reality is we're both the same with one thing. We're showing up authentically.
Every day, man. Every day, that's all it takes.
So in many ways, what I'm going to say is going to come across like kind of dickish, but like, I don't care what you're going to become because I like who you are.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And that's why I lean into, like, that's why, like, I want to get close to you because I'm like, I want to hear more. Like, I want give me more what Adam's serving up, because whatever he is, that's where I want to be part of. And that's what when Flynn and I talk, that's why people tune into our show, because like, okay, I like what Bilous is serving up, you know, and he's bringing real shit every single day. He's falling it on his face every single day.
But you know what it is for me?
Yeah.
You know what it is for me? It's that so many people don't believe in themselves for a variety of different reasons. And when they see people that believe in themselves, they're like, how? Like, how did you get there? What did that look like? Like, people don't know how to unlock belief in themselves. And that's what you two have. So when you show up, you're doing cool things, but you believe that you can fucking do them. That's the shit. That's the lessons. Those are the education that people need to know, because that's all they want.
Well, it's interesting you say it, Flynn, because even Melissa, our colleague Melissa, she says, people love the Keith confidence. They want to know how they can get that. It's like Adam Peters. How do I get some of what Adam's serving up? And you know what? And all politics aside, you know, when President Trump tried to be assassinated and he got up and he said, fight. Like that moment resonates for humans going, yes, I don't care what you're going to be, but that emotional moment connects humans, just like somebody's connecting with Adam, or somebody's connecting because they don't know how did that guy get that confidence? He was almost shot in the head.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
I think you just show up every day, man. I still struggle day to day with belief in myself. That's a never ending battle. It just looks a little different as you start to grow, as you start to figure things out, as you start to see things working. You know, I killed some MRR from the community because I took on an opportunity that took too much of my time away and devalued the community. So now the community's free. So that means I got to pivot to find income. And so I'll be vulnerable now. I want to pivot into AI automations as a service. Yeah. But I'm afraid to launch that because I don't believe in myself yet. I don't believe that my skills are good enough yet. Even though I've built 50 automations for myself, I've automated my own systems. I still don't believe in myself enough to launch another offer, you know, a pretty significant, you know, revenue attached to that offer also. So you just have to show up every day, put in the work, do something 1% better every day. And I promise you, your life will look so much different in a year. I've done all of this since November of last year, everything.
It's wild.
Adam, I got an offer for you, brother. So next year I'm showing up every single day too. So maybe during your journey of showing up, you want to show up with me along the way from time to time. And
brother, I love your show so much. I've been listening since you went live this morning. I've been listening every morning since last week. I love this show. I love what you're talking about. I would be happy to join you anytime.
Because I'll be vulnerable with you too. I got some offers on my desk too that I'm looking to put out, but my fucking insecurities go, oh, I don't know.
Right.
So I'm with you, right? You're like, I'm not good enough to do that. Yeah, you got Flynn and people looking at me going, what do you mean? Like, you're done. But it's just, we struggle, right? So, but then when we struggle, we make ourselves relatable. And we got Jesse Freeman popping up here for you, Adam. Mr. Adam, your positivity is a radiating thing, and I'm enjoying listening into your story and your experience. Jesse, brother, I got to tell you something, man. You joined the show, Flynn, hour and a half ago? And Jesse, you have stuck around with us. I know you got choices where to put your time, just like you do, Adam. The fact that you guys choose to spend time with me and like Rick Clody, I can't tell you guys.
It's cool, man. Like that comment that was just for me. Like, dude, I got chills because
ridiculous.
I don't feel in my heart that I deserve to have a platform or that I should be the guy doing this.
And you know this guy, and he's telling you that you're doing good shit. So you need to take that home today, right?
For sure. Right.
You just screenshot that and you just put it on the fucking backdrop of your phone. And every time you're feeling like I can't do something, you read that shit.
Yeah. Me and Peters need to go down and roll a blunt. And then we need to get on a call together and we need to chat about it and go, okay, how you feeling, Peters? I'm not feeling good about myself. Bilous, how you feeling? I'm not feeling good. I feel better about myself.
We should do that. We should definitely do that. That'd be a good one.
All I ask is that you videotape it.
Yeah,
and
I'm on the show here one morning, but I gotta figure out how we do it here in my studio here, because I don't know if my lovely wife will be as forgiving as Terry is with Johnny in the
No, you already know this. It ain't happening. Just fucking stop trying.
All right, Flynn, let's do this. Jimmy, we're getting up to the top of the clock here. We got work to do here. One last comment. We got Rick Clody coming in with Keith Bilous, this guy embodies a continuous improvement, doing everything. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that, Rick. All right, so Adam, you put somebody into my message feed that said, hey, there's somebody who's doing great work, and I kind of did the old teaser at the beginning of the show, but we're going to get to it. There's somebody you said, I want to celebrate this fellow, and we're making this content now because we're going to cut this up later and surprise this fellow just like we did with you when we did it with him. So you said to us, hey, there's somebody I want to celebrate for Mornings in the Lab Creator Spotlight. He's from Vail, Arizona. He's a certified master's coach helping veterans. He's first responders, others suffering with trauma and burnout transformation, rediscovering and reconnecting through adventure wellness. Today, our friend Adam Peters is here to celebrate somebody from Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. And today's Creator Spotlight is somebody who's not joining us, but we're hoping is going to join us. Maybe with Adam on the show, we'll all just be smoking blunts on the show. Today, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends wants to invite and celebrate this fellow for the Creator Spotlight, Anthony Toundreau. Yes, Anthony, you got your buddy Adam Peters here putting you on stage saying, hey, we want to celebrate you. Adam, why are we celebrating Anthony today, brother?
Man, this guy is an amazing human being. Let me just tell you a quick story why I want to celebrate him.
Yes.
I love everything that he's doing with the outdoor adventure wellness. We all know being outside and physical activity is one of the key pillars to healing our minds, our bodies, our souls, all of that good stuff. Tony, I took a trip out to Arizona earlier this year in Utah in the summer. Tony lives about an hour and a half from Phoenix, which is where I was flying into to do a live podcast. And after I had him on my podcast, he volunteered to drive out there, pick me up, take me to the hotel, spend the day with me, just because he wanted to meet me in person and find out if I was really the person that I portray through the camera. And, man, it was awesome. We linked up. He picked me up from the airport. He didn't have to do all of that. He hung out with me till, late in the evening at the hotel, just bullshitting. First time we'd ever met in person, and it's like we're long lost brothers. We talked about his Border Patrol career. We talked about all of our aspirations, ate some really good Mexican food. And I just love everything that he's doing, man. And getting outside and creating these programs there's no way it's not helping heal people. And I want to help his business take off. I want to see him take this thing to the moon. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm fairly certain he coined the term outdoor adventure wellness therapy.
Nice.
So that's why I want to highlight him. I want people to know about his program. I want them to be able to take advantage of it. As far as I know, he also takes HSA. So if you have an HSA account, you can go through his programs, and he's just an amazing human, man.
Oh, I love that. Anthony Toundreau, we are celebrating here this morning, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. You're seeing emotion in my eyes because I'm moved by your profile, and I'm moved by what Peters just said, is that you guys barely knew each other and you went and picked him up from the airport. And I'm looking at his pictures and I'm looking at his story very briefly here, Adam, and it's pretty clear on the face of it why the guy dropped everything to come pick you up. And Anthony, would love to have you on the show, get to know you, celebrate you. And Flynn, if there's one thing that I'm learning as I meet guys like Richie Ingram and Adam Peters and Joseph Malone and hopefully one day Anthony Toundreau, man, you guys are solid human beings, man, with huge hearts. And I just got nothing but respect for the things you guys have done.
We weren't always like this, brother. Takes a lot of work to get here, man.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It does. Yeah, nothing's easy. So, all right. Well, listen, it's that time where we start to work towards wrapping up. Jimmy, Kristina Flynn, Adam Peters. Adam, you listened to the whole show today. What was the highlight of the show today? Was it soaking?
Man, that was pretty good. I like the whole show, man. You guys talked about getting out of your own way. You talked about showing up. You talked about routine.
Yeah.
You talked about it all, man. All of my favorite things, the same things that you look at my content that I talk about. This was a great one, man.
I appreciate that. Adam, how can Business Athlete Nation find you and connect with you? And again, just let's put them on the table. Folks want to connect with Adam Peters over on LinkedIn. Where can they find you and what can they get from you?
Yeah, man. Everything I primarily build on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn's the best place. If not, go to my website, thestrategicveteran.com. Everything for the podcast community. Eventually there'll be a blog up there. The AI automation stuff will be up there. Everything on my website. That's where you can find me. I still do all of my own comments and DMs, and I always will. So you will always talk to me. You won't talk to a virtual assistant or a robot.
Love that. All right, Jimmy, let's wrap up the show with Flynn and Adam. Flynn, are some kind of some final closing words for you, Kristina?
Yeah, I mean, the highlight segment for me, other than soaking, of course, just given my personal connections to Mormonism, it's just really fucking cool to have you on, Adam, and to see the reality, right? Like, you're not bullshitting us. This is hard work. It didn't come easy. It wasn't a system. It wasn't just like, I figured it out. Now you can too if you do the same shit I did. No, Like the path is going to be different for everyone. What we try to do on the show is present a lot of different perspectives, and you pick and choose the things that appeal to you. And maybe some people are appealing to the ayahuasca or the plant medicine, and maybe some people are appealing to the work you're doing in school and community. Whatever it is, that's the hope for this show. And I think you're like the perfect guest for us to be able to exemplify what we're trying to do here. So I really appreciate you coming on and being vulnerable.
So true, Kristina. And I think Rick Clody says it best, right? Is that, thank you, Keith Bilous, for bringing this great American. And man, love that you bring quote unquote real people to your show who make a difference for us. Listen, Rick, that's the goal here, right? I know a lot of shows chase the celebrities and high profile folks, and so do we. But what I'm learning is that where the true magic happens is when you bring guys like Adam Peters in the show and Daniel Brenneman, the real humans who we all can relate to and learn about their struggles and those dark moments where we make these different decisions that get us through life. So, Rick, I appreciate you. I appreciate you hanging out with us. Adam Peters, I appreciate you as well, brother. On behalf of Adam, Kristina Flynn, producer Jimmy, Rick Clody, Jesse Freeman, thanks, but you hung out the whole show, Jesse. I appreciate you, man.
Good luck with the search.
Yeah, we're back 8 o'clock Monday Eastern time. Oh, hey, I know what I'm going to die. Yeah, Clody,
Me too.
I know what I'm dying. So is Flynn.
I'm only 4 years after you. It's wild. I got a lot of shit to do.
Yeah, and we're not joking about it, but I know when I'm going to die, and we're going to talk about it on Monday.
Death clock.
Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Maybe Adam will tune in as well. We'll see you guys later, nation.